friends, let me introduce you about our event a bit. The key purpose of this convention, this one-of-its-kind convention, is to address the need to bring innovative solutions for the customers through the right use of technology and value-creating services, which includes the sustainable development of real estate, green and smart buildings, technologies, artificial intelligence, and much more. Proceeding further, we would like to thank all our amazing sponsors for their tremendous support for making this event happen today. So a special thanks goes to Fast Cable, Riz Electric, and SPCI, along with all the media and support partners. Now, I would request my beautiful co-host, Sidra Mahmood Jafri, to please take up the event from here. Over to you, Sidra.
Thank you, Hira. Now, to address the keynote speech for housing approaches for sustainability in Pakistan and to shed some perspective, I would like to request Professor Dr. Numan Ahmed, Dean of Faculty Architect, NED. He is an architect and planner by profession. Please welcome Professor Dr. Numan Ahmed.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Can we have the presentation? First of all, I thank the esteemed sponsors and organizers of this event for inviting me to address this very distinguished audience. My task is to talk about housing strategies and policies as they have stood in the past, and what are some of the key challenges that we have identified through various exercises of research, and what are some of the options in respect to policies. As we understand that after food and clothing, housing is the third most essential human need, and the imagination of any society without an appropriate access to housing is possibly impossible. So on that count, we in the Islamic Republic of Pakistan are obviously reasonably far behind, and there are a number of reasons why the situation is so. Next, please. Okay. As we understand that Pakistan is a very populous country, the overall state of population rise informs that we are over 222 million, and the rate of population growth is obviously very high. And as the population rise, one of the fundamental needs that evolves is housing. Another important issue is that apart from population growth, the overall process of urbanization is also very fast. Pakistan is one of the fastest urbanizing countries in South Asia. And according to the Planning Commission of Pakistan, by the year 2030, half of Pakistan will be living in cities. The question is whether our cities are prepared to withstand this incoming load of population and would be able to extend the right type of services that our people require. That's a huge question. The last census that was held in 2017 informed that Pakistan was 36% urban, and researchers and students of urban planning like myself question this figure for its authenticity, given the fact that a very age-old and rather anachronistic definition of urban settlement was applied to conduct that census. We all are aware of the fact that if we travel on any corridor of movement in Pakistan, say any highway, say from Lahore to Kasur or Lahore to Gujranwala or elsewhere, we find that settlement continues all along. There is no respite in settlement that you find. So in our overall standing, those settlements were not included as urban. Even in the periphery of Karachi, you find that there are huge developments along the M9 highway. Some of them are already consolidated. They were also not included in this count, and that's why we believe that this 36% is rather an understatement. Whatever the case might be, we know for sure that the population is going to rise and rise very fast, and our cities are going to bear this incoming load of population to a much greater extent. Now, housing in Pakistan has been caused, or housing need in Pakistan has been caused due to four fundamental factors. The first factor, obviously, is the growth of population, as we understand. And you add with this growth of population the factor of urbanization, so it compounds further. That's one thing. Then, obviously, housing or housing stock has a life. And after it passes its designed life, then it becomes, in fact, inappropriate to be used. So there is a replacement need, and that replacement need over the period of time has increased to a tremendous extent. Secondly, there is a huge amount of migration that our cities, especially large cities, come across. So large number of people leave their original place of habitat and come to reside in cities. That causes the third need. And fourthly, there is a change in the overall social structure of the society. We now have many nuclear families. The joint family system is falling apart. And with this change in the sociology of our population, the housing need further compounds. So these are four very strong factors contributing. You add the overall factor of disaster and climate change, and the factors increase. So what we learn from this situation is that the housing need over the period of time is multiplying, and it is going to intensify with the passage of time. According to an extremely conservative estimate that was given to us again by Planning Commission of Pakistan, the standing housing need is 10 million units as of now, and this is going to rise with the passage of time. Now, a very important location or set of locations where this need is felt are our cities. The rate of urbanization is faster than the rate of growth of population. So cities obviously are going to become the context where housing need is going to be experienced to a far greater extent. The number of households are also increasing, and that's why the need within our society for housing units is going to rise. So all of these indicators, in fact, in a way, declare the emergency for addressing this enormous need. Otherwise, the society will always be in a very chaotic and restless situation. Now, the state of this population that I was talking about, that is something that we need to look at. Over half of our urban population lives in extremely crowded housing. This is about a single room housing, which for any social and strategic purpose is very much undesirable. And the number of such dwellings is increasing because the cost of housing is also increasing. Sizable number of these people do not have access to essential services such as potable water supply and sanitation. And as the population is increasing and other type of economic compulsions rising, the capacity of this population to access these essential needs, that is also falling apart. Hardly 26% of people have any kind of proper sanitation, which is one of the essential requirements of a decent housing and living conditions. Now, the state response to housing over the period of time, and I've kind of done this very briefly, has been very skewed. When Pakistan came into being, there was an overwhelming response by the government. You can imagine from the fact that the first 5-year development plan that was prepared for Pakistan allocated about 10% of the entire development funds focusing at housing. But over the period of time, this interest has actually declined. And we experimented with certain approaches that did not deliver result. For example, in the initial run, our state institutions were of the belief that if we provide completely built housing to all who require, maybe the housing need will be served. And this approach was tried in Karachi, Lahore, Dhaka, and several other places. But over the period of time, this did not function because this was an extremely capital-intensive approach. Pakistan was at a very initial stage of its existence, and allocating funds and resources to that scale were very difficult. So this approach actually did not deliver. Just to give you an example, if you remember Korangi Township back in the 1950s, which was developed by what was then called as the Central Ministry of Housing and Rehabilitation, that was a case in point. Korangi was to have 180,000 units of housing completely prepared, but the government capacity actually stopped at 10,000 units, and rest of Korangi developed far, far later. The next approach that the state institutions adopted was to supply land. And land was obviously supplied in a developed and obviously controlled manner. There were a number of schemes of land supply that were initiated, and these open land supply schemes were done at a very cheap rate. Initially, this land was delivered to some of the needy people, the actual target group, but over the period of time, this land supply became a huge enterprise of speculation. And this had started becoming evident from the 1960s. Some of the initial land supply scheme, if we talk about Karachi, included the Orangi Township, the Kasbah Township, and the Baldia Township. These were huge land repositories, but then this land did not fall to the needy and was actually held up for various types of speculative purposes. The actual poor did not possess the right type of affordability and the means to access this land. Can we just move to the next one? Not working. As we found that while people were coming to the cities and they did not have adequate housing, they started living in various type of squatters, which we commonly call as Kachi Abadis. The initial response to Kachi Abadis by the state institution was very brutal. They would go out and bulldoze them wherever they were found, and the people who were squatting were always on the run. Initially, they targeted locations close to the city center, but later on they attempted to occupy the peripheral lands. Now, in the 70s, the policies towards squatters started becoming different because of the fact that the state was realizing the fact that its capacity to provide housing to the needy was not there, and it was considered appropriate to lay down procedures and systems to regularize them. So it was after a large exercise supervised and advised by the international institutions such as the UN Habitat and the World Bank that the first policies towards regularization of squatters was done. And it was during the times of Prime Minister Muhammad Khan Junejo that the Sindh Kachi Abadi Authority Act, which was the first law of its kind, was passed. And there were procedures laid down for regularizing Kachi Abadis that fulfilled a certain criteria. But obviously, Kachi Abadis were not the final destination, not the final answer, and the state required better options to deal with the provision of housing. Next, please. These are some of the views of Kachi Abadis. Nowadays, our overall stance towards Kachi Abadis has changed since land has become an extremely valuable commodity. So that's why squatters are being evicted and people are made to kind of leave their places of residence for other options. This is a glimpse of eviction taking place along one of the nalas or one of the natural drains of Karachi. Next, please. This is a typical squatter in the backyards of Gadab town. People always start with very makeshift, improvised type of shelters. But as their capacity to invest improves, they are able to improve the overall status of their housing. Next. Very recent initiative of housing was by the previous government, the Naya Pakistan Housing Program. This was launched with an intention of supporting low income, middle income, and people of various other cross sections of the society. The main focus of this initiative was to aim at the support and options for housing credit. And housing credit, which was considered to be an extremely difficult option of financing, options were created to make people access this credit to the optimum extent. Next. However, the overall scale was very, very limited. And while some of the initiatives around this project are going on, the overall intention of the government has obviously loosened up, and also the resources available are very limited. Then I'll quickly go through some of the pilot projects that were there. one of the first pilot project that was aimed at regularizing squatter settlements was, we all know, was Orangi pilot project. This was set up by a very well-known social scientist of Pakistan, late Dr. Akhtar Hamid Khan. Next, please. The idea was that when the squatters were set, there were options of regularization available to them. The people required technical assistance and community mobilization assistance, which the volunteers and team members of this very well-known pilot project were able to provide. This pilot project became a global success and was replicated in different parts of the world. Next. This is a picture of people helping themselves under the technical supervision of the pilot project team. Next, please. The other pilot project that became a global success was the Khuda Ki Basti housing scheme. Next, please. Ek aur. Next. Next, please. Since the time is running out, I'm going to take you down to this project, which was set up initially in Hyderabad, in Gulshan-e-Shehbaz. And the idea was that while many of the schemes announced by the government remained unoccupied, the Kachi Abadis were becoming full of residents and inviting new occupants. Learning from the principle of the Kachi Abadis, late Mr. Taslim Siddiqui was a bureaucrat, a very well-known figure in housing. He improvised the criteria of housing delivery, and he made occupancy as the first precondition for providing housing, instead of making people acquire land without any kind of occupancy commitment. Next, please. So, Khuda Ki Basti was initially replicated in Hyderabad, then it came to Gharo. The third Khuda Ki Basti was built in Karachi, and now it is expanding in many other parts of Pakistan. However, the idea of this pilot project was not to make these type of settlements as an example. The idea was primarily to make the government policy learn from this particular pilot project and mainstream this particular initiative into the overall housing framework. The government of General Musharraf in 2002 actually made this Khuda Ki Basti principle as a part of the national housing policy. However, with the departure of the government and also the non-compliance by the various type of provincial institutions, this policy was not able to deliver the right type of results. So over the period of time, while this policy has the potential to deliver housing to various cross-sections of the society, especially low-income groups, we do not find much happening on this count. I am asked to sum up. I will finally say in conclusion that while there are several issues that we have experienced during these past 75 years of our nation's history, one thing which is very important for the delivery of housing is the issue of land. Land used to be considered initially as a social asset, but now land has become a commodity. And when land becomes a commodity and when it is transacted as a commodity, obviously the possibility of the low-income groups who possess very limited resources, their option of accessing housing through market principles becomes extremely extinct. And while this cross-section of the society is very large, therefore we require specific approaches where this very vast category of population could be facilitated, and the learnings that we have been able to draw from pilot projects and other initiatives like these become the real beacon of light from where we can actually benefit. Thank you very much for your patient listening.
Thank you so much, Professor Dr. Numan Ahmed, Dean Faculty of Architecture, NED, for sharing your thought-provoking and insightful views with us. It was certainly our pleasure listening to you. Now, I would request Honorable Engineer Fahim Siddiqui, CEO of F&T Consulting Engineers, to please join us on the stage and give his insightful address on challenges of MEP systems in smart, safe, and sustainable buildings. Ladies and gentlemen, please give him a warm welcome on stage.
Assalamu alaikum ji. Bright and early on a Saturday morning. छुट्टी का दिन होता है, but alhamdulillah, good effort to try and improve so many things that need improvement in Pakistan, including the built environment, जिसकी एक शदीद ज़रूरत डॉक्टर नोमान ने बताई है. No, you can't hear me? Is this on? Hello? 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 Is this better? Okay. Let me see if this works to start with. How do you change this? So kuch karo yaar. Anyway, so while the technology is being fixed, let me just have a small chat. The built environment today is an extremely important element in the lives of humanity. As we will see in some of the slides, the amount of energy that buildings consume is almost 1/3 of the energy that's consumed in the world. Center one, of course. Okay, so the topic of the seminar is smart, safe, and sustainable buildings, and I'd like to equate that to another terminology which is in use in the technical field, which is high-performance buildings. The only word that I would remove from this definition is the word safe, because safe has nothing to do with high-performance buildings. It has to be true for every building that is built. So why high-performance buildings? So it all starts with our realization that we are building things in this world and consuming energy, and as a result of our very consumptive lifestyle, we have caused a major impact on the planet Earth, and climate change is one of them. It's something that you all know about. It's one of the 4 existential threats of this world today. Climate change, the other 3 are possibly an asteroid hitting Earth. The third one is a pandemic, and the fourth one is a nuclear war. So climate change is one of those threats which can wipe out humanity from this earth, from this planet. And if any of you have seen Global Warming, The Undeniable Truth by Al Gore, it's a frightening depiction of what could possibly happen. I think I'll move fast because I'm told I have only 15 minutes, so I think my slides are just too many. So climate change is something that allows you to, that forces you to think in terms of carbon dioxide emissions, because carbon dioxide that we are putting in the environment and the atmosphere, which is causing a greenhouse effect, in turn causing the warming up of the planet. And as you can see from the slide, we are currently at 1.5 degrees centigrade, and some of the impact is the dying of the reefs. The floods that we have had this year in Pakistan is a manifestation of the climate change. And if things go beyond 2 degrees centigrade, things can get really out of hand. And there are many who say there is a tipping point, in which case we will have runaway increase in temperature and climate change. So we need to build sustainably, and sustainably means that what you build today allows future generations to continue their survival on planet Earth. And as a result of all of this, in 2015, the United Nations, in their 70th or 75th anniversary, formulated a Sustainable Development Goals plan, which focused on 17 areas, as you can see on the slide. And their idea was to achieve all of this by the year 2030. And the one, number 11, talks about built environment and communities. So as I said earlier, the buildings consume a huge amount of energy, and therefore that's where our focus is. And the idea is to reduce their energy levels and reduce their carbon footprint, as it is called. आगे बढ़ाएं इसको. So, apart from the definition of high performance buildings, they're also called green buildings or LEED certified buildings or net zero buildings, which is the ultimate that we are trying to. The net zero building is a building that would produce as much energy as it is consuming. The net zero being zero demand of energy and therefore zero emission of carbon dioxide. We are still far from that net zero, but efforts are being made. There are standards in this world that allow you to design to create high performance buildings, and these are some of them. So what's so special about high performance buildings? If you build a building well and with the right guidelines, your energy bills will be reduced as you consume less energy. You reduce carbon dioxide, your impact on climate change reduces. These buildings are better built, so the healthier living and greater thermal comfort. More natural light, because that's something we like to harvest rather than put on bulbs. Lower noise levels. The building is more resilient to the environment. And commercially speaking, they have high resale values as well. So there are green building certifications which many countries have implemented all over the world. But one of the famous ones is LEED, which is Leadership in Engineering and Environmental Design out of USA. United States Green Building Council leads this, and then there is BREEAM, and there's Japan, and so on and so forth. So the LEED ratings are 4 of them, which is, the gold, silver, bronze, and platinum, not necessarily in that order. But those are the ratings that LEED gives out. It also has another rating which is called just LEED certified without, a level. I'll be wasting most of the time clicking on this damn thing. So what is the advantage of getting LEED certification? One is international recognition, a third-party certification that this building is high performing. It's a performance based evaluation. It lowers your operating costs, increases asset value, and of course conserves energy, water, and other resources, and allows for healthier living of its environment, of its occupants. So LEED certified buildings, typically, these are numbers that surveys have brought forward. They consume 26% less energy. Silver buildings will consume 32% less energy, and LEED gold and platinum will consume 44% less energy. And in terms of business benefits, 13.6 lower operating costs, return on investment increases by 9.9%, and occupancy ratio increases by 6.4%. These are numbers that are coming out of USA, various surveys that have been done by various organizations. I don't know how much they apply to Pakistan, but the good news is that there is a movement towards LEED in Pakistan as well. And a number of buildings have been LEED certified. The textile industry especially is moving toward LEED certification because that gives them an added advantage in their commercial business. The LEED points are, all of these 9 elements, or 7, 8 elements are evaluated. I don't want to read this, but you get a maximum of 69 points to be evaluated, which will give you 100%. So there are challenges in Pakistan, major challenges. Economic instability, we are all living through it today, is a major challenge. The cost of construction is rising. There is a lack of skilled labor, much of it because of brain drain and labor drain. Fire and life safety is an issue. Lack of master planning. Just Karachi ka bhi, we've been, for years and years, we've been hearing about a master plan for Karachi, but still not visible. Lack of infrastructure. You start to build any building and there's not enough water, there's hardly any gas, not enough electricity. You need to put in 100% standby. Storm drainage outfalls available nahi hai. Drainage systems are choked because obviously designed 50 years ago for one plot, one family, where you're building hundreds of apartments. So all of these things are huge challenges that are there, especially in Karachi and major urban cities. So how do we build a high performance building? For one thing, it has to be a holistic approach. It's not that you come to a consulting engineer and gives you a solution for a high performance building, which we do, but it has to start with the ownership of the building. The owner of the building has to be desire it. He is looking at it from a commercial standpoint, and that's where we come in and provide education as to why a better built building is better for him, in spite of the fact that there is some element of increased initial capital expenditure, but that does pay back in terms of better resale value, lower operating costs, and so on and so forth. So everybody that you see on that list has to be part of that team that delivers a high performance building. Next. Well, it's the same thing next. So holistic approach की मैं बात कर रहा था. So it starts with where you site the building. लीड में ये बहुत सारी चीज़ें आ जाती हैं. बिल्डिंग साइटिंग के ऊपर भी the marks are impacted. The building envelope has to be thermally efficient. Ventilation, cooling, and heating systems, not a luxury anymore. Cold and hot water, lighting and power. Okay, I've got 2 minutes left, so I don't know what I'll do in 2 minutes, but let's just move on. So architects play a major role in creating good buildings for the simple reason that they must build a building which is thermally efficient. Even today, and with due respect to Dr. Noman, I don't think I see enough attention from architects on building thermally efficient buildings. So we are still not using insulation in walls. Yes, there is definitely an element of putting insulation on the roof, which is where 60% of your heat comes in. But I think the architects need to think through in a more holistic way to first build a very thermally efficient building, and then you put in air conditioning and whatever else to compensate for the lowered the heat gain into the building. I'll skip this slide. Air conditioning systems are the biggest consumers of energy in buildings, and therefore they require the maximum attention. So there is a whole lot of standards and guidelines that are there from ASHRAE, which is the American Society of Heating, Refrigerating and Air Conditioning Engineers, that has 90.1, 189.1 as standards that guide you towards making buildings or making HVAC systems which are energy efficient. So I'm going to skip this. These are details of air conditioning systems. I'll skip this also, what you should do. So let's go on to pictures, which is worth 1,000 words. Some of the plants, some of the photographs from some of our projects. This is Emporium Mall in Lahore. Also Emporium Mall. This project would have easily won LEED certification, at least gold. This is the Dolman Sky Towers in Karachi. This is Getz Pharma, which is LEED Platinum certified. This is also another picture of the condenser water pumps. This is a building in Islamabad. We didn't start off with LEED certification, but when the new client took over, he wanted LEED certification, and this achieved LEED Gold. So some of the pictures of the Hive Tower in Islamabad. HVAC system efficient design, all of that is taken for granted. We have to do all of that thing. Passive cooling is something we can look at. Okay, now building management systems for large projects, that's an extremely important element because you have to monitor, and today's systems have become so complex that human beings alone in a manual way cannot monitor the energy consumption in buildings. So you need building management systems that are continuously keeping an eye on where the energy is being used, and how to optimize their consumption. So that's one of the things that you must put in. A picture of this is an Emporium Mall video wall, which showing the operation of the various systems. When you go to water, again, a very scarce commodity today. All of the things that you need to do to reduce consumption should be done. Some of them stated here. Recycling of water, extremely important. I think all of the water that we consume just goes down the drain. And there are two kinds of water. One is, of course, grey water, which is without soil. And that water could be easily recycled with very little treatment. And you could use it for flushing of toilets or reflushing of toilets, for landscaping, makeup water in cooling towers. Those are possibilities of recycling of water. So need for putting in treatment plants on site is important. Rainwater harvesting, something that should be done. Not much use in Karachi because of the low rainfall. Extremely important to have a good maintenance policy, which is again, I find deficiency is there. Enough attention is not being paid, because no matter how well you build, until you run it well, you will not save energy and money. So a lot of investment in thought and management needs to go into the operation and maintenance of buildings. I think we are more or less at the end of this. Thank you. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Engineer Fahim Siddiqui, CEO, FND Consulting Engineering. Thank you so much for your thought leadership talk over the pressing issues and help us think through over the challenges. Now, to speak over artificial intelligence for smart buildings and smart cities, may I please request Dr. Sohail Khan, HOD, SP, CAI, PAF, IST, KPK. Please, warm welcome for Dr. Sohail Khan.
Thank you very much. Next slide will be presentation slide. Okay, so Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. My talk is about artificial intelligence for smart buildings and smart cities. My name is Dr. Sohail Khan. I work at Sino-Pak Center for Artificial Intelligence Research Center at Park Austria Fachhochschule Institute of Applied Sciences and Technology. Yeah, I just pushed. Perhaps it's not working. Okay, next slide. Next slide. Okay, so the challenge with 1.6 billion people. Okay. Slide. Next slide. Okay. So the challenge with 1.6 billion people lacking adequate housing today and increased urbanization, it is estimated that 70% of people by 2050 shall be living in cities that are covering only 2% of land on earth. The buildings are expected to provide them with adequate and accessible housing in future. Next. The buildings also account for nearly 40% of the global energy consumption. Building owners are facing increased competitions for building space. The buildings needs to be comfortable, safe, productive, energy efficient and secure while maintaining business resiliency. Next. They need to meet higher occupant expectations, which are driven by technology and Internet of Things, connecting all the targets and objectives together. Next. To attract and retain employees and occupants and maintain a competitive advantage, the building owners are going beyond the traditional focus on operational efficiencies. Next. To create a people-centric environment that enhances occupant experience, the buildings of future must deliver world-class operations and occupant engagement, transforming the buildings into extension of their being. Yeah, those people who live or work there. Your building becomes an active contributor to the success of your occupants and their businesses. But the question is, how to do that? Next. We as experts at Sinopark Center for Artificial Intelligence can develop customized solutions that transform the buildings into adaptive, people-centric spaces in ways that were never possible before. Next. We develop solutions that enable intelligent infrastructure with Internet of Things devices that capture data and have a powerful integration platform that connect all of your building systems such as automation, lighting, security and fire protection system, as well as business systems such as asset management. Next. The next layer is of data analytics. The data analytics platform that we developed that allows continuous monitoring and analysis of your operations to improve performance. The IoT network of smart sensors provide additional data to gain insights related to the occupants in the building that you can use to increase your occupant productivity and their well-being. Next. Furthermore, the workplace of the people who are living in the smart buildings, we develop the applications that give them direct control over their environment, such as personalized temperature and lighting control. These capabilities actually provide a more comprehensive and user-centric approach, effectively connecting the people in the building with the building. Next. So the idea of a smart building is that it is an intelligent infrastructure that has digital applications and services integrated onto it, and basically they are addressing a number of challenges simultaneously. One of it is energy conservation. So with the increased analytics about the energy consumption, you can basically isolate those areas in the building which are behaving, for instance, abnormally or consuming a lot of energy from the rest of the building, and specialized solutions could be deployed there. All of this is not possible without data analytics. Then, for instance, if you have a critical equipment installed in your building, could be your HVAC, could be any monitoring system, it will be highly beneficial if that system itself can alert you that a maintenance is scheduled. This is very normal in case of aircraft and other safety critical systems. The warnings and the preventive maintenance automatically drives you towards the correct solutions or maintenance alerts. So we are basically providing custom solutions that can be integrated with your solutions. Third is optimum space utilization. Now, with IoT sensors, if you install them in a different location in the building, you can basically see the occupant density and concentration in different part of the building. So you can basically make good decisions regarding how you can plan your spaces while already the building is on operation. Similarly, emergency response could be integrated, and in the end it provides more comfort and more safety to the people living in the smart building. Next. So the benefits are that the buildings are basically transformed to smart buildings that are comfortable and safe, ensuring the well-being of people and protection of assets, optimizing room conditions, and maintaining a comfortable environment that enhance the business continuity through operational efficiency and minimize energy and maintenance expenses by preventive maintenance. Our solutions lead to space and user efficient environment, creating a people-centric building experience that help you make the best use of space and equipment, improving the productivity and occupant satisfaction in the buildings. Next. Okay, summarizing. So a comprehensive building optimization system of future must leverage all aspects of building and facility that are shown in the figure. That should lead to integration of data from IoT devices and occupant behavior using machine learning, and optimize the performance and improve environmental efficiency by application of artificial intelligence. For example, by taking the advantage of power analytics and AI, building owners can significantly cut their energy consumption. For instance, by combining the data of heating and cooling with weather company based micro location forecasts. So if you know exactly what is going to be the weather in the next day, your HVAC system could be more proactive and you can save energy. This is one of the application. The other application of data analytics are, for instance, to prevent the energy wastage by isolating inefficient energy usage. Sensor control system can monitor dispensing of the waters, just like what discussed in the previous meeting, previous presentation. And similarly, cognitive maintenance can help preserve the health of critical building equipment and assets so that you can anticipate the failures and do the preventive maintenance. Next. So we at Sinopark Center for Artificial Intelligence provide services to our potential customers. So basically we take the requirements from our customers and then basically we develop a conceptual solution. Now from prototyping the idea to reality, we use agile methodology, and it is undertaken by trained professionals in AI, which is also, at this point in time in Pakistan, it's very hard to get the right combination of experts under one roof. Next. So we can provide demos to the customers, right? And that can be adjusted via rapid development and according to the customer requirements. We also provide visibility in different stages of development so that you can know if the project timeline is actually met or not. Next. Some of the projects that we have developed in-house include a millimeter wave radar system that can be used for touchless control in buildings. Could be, for instance, an application for elevator control or so on. Can you please play it? Can you please play it? If you just hover your cursor on it, there will be a play button. Okay. So you can see the demo at our stall. So we have developed a millimeter wave radar system. So it's playing. Okay. It's a camera. It's not a camera based system. So it preserves the identity or there is no identity related issues. So it provides a touchless interface and any kind of gesture could be introduced there. So it could be used for lighting control. It could be used for temperature setting. It could be used in elevators. It could be used in those surfaces where you do not want to have touch involved to the surface. Next slide. Similarly, we have developed another interesting application that is elderly care. So Internet of Things based system can be installed in your buildings, in your projects, that can basically generate alerts based on elderly behavior. So these are basically whether it's smartphone based analytics or a sensor worn by the elder on the wrist, and those and that data based analytics we can provide, for instance, elderly monitoring and care alerts to the people who are taking care of the elders and also to the emergency response services. Next slide. We have also developed Internet of Things based weather alert system that could also be integrated with your existing system. Next. And we have also developed an in-house recommender tool that basically can give you recommendation on how you can make optimized investments in renewable energy and energy storage based on your energy consumption data. So it's not, peak power or demand based, system designing that is usually not very efficient, and it's also a deal breaker for many companies and organizations. So we provide optimized solution according to your building requirements, according to your building energy requirements, so that you can make an optimal decision. Next slide. Next. Okay, so with this presentation, we look forward to your visit at our stall, and we would also like to invite you to visit our beautiful campus, Park Austria Fachhochschule Institute of Applied Sciences and Technology, located in Haripur, KPK. and our center is located at this institute. So with this, I will conclude my talk and looking forward to meet you at the sites of this conference and discussing the future possibilities. Thank you.
PAFIST, KAPK, for sharing your valued perspectives with us. It was certainly a treasure listening to your insightful perspectives. There's just an announcement that we have some very interesting stalls that are exhibited in on the right and left hand side of this conference room. These are basically our PropTech and Smart Tech zones, and Governor Sindh, Mr. Kamran Tasori, will inaugurate the session very shortly. And after the convention ends, you all are requested to please visit all those stalls, and you'll find them very exciting. So, do we have the video presentation ready? Yes. Okay, so now there will be a video message on sustainability that has been done by architect Shahid Abdullah, ASA. So, ladies and gentlemen, please enjoy the video.
I'm very sorry I'm unable to attend this beautiful seminar that's going on, but I think it will be a very good idea if I start talking briefly about sustainability. It's a nice, fashionable word, to talk about. So what I intend to do is we have to see what is good for Pakistan as far as sustainability is concerned. Now, if one looks at the actual meaning of sustainability in a Webster's dictionary, it talks about very different. Two or three. Assalamu alaikum. I'm very sorry I'm unable to attend this beautiful seminar that's going on. But I think I'm unable to attend this. I'm very sorry I'm unable to attend this beautiful seminar that's going on. But I think it will be a very good idea if I start talking briefly about sustainability. It's a nice, fashionable word, to talk about. So what I intend to do is we have to see what is good for Pakistan as far as sustainability is concerned. Now, if one looks at the actual meaning of sustainability, in a Webster's dictionary, it talks about very different to what we are basically looking at. But once we are looking at something that is sustainable, the way I see it is that it doesn't go to waste what we use. So there will be two or three things which are basic. First thing that has to be is that while we're talking about construction, we're talking about buildings, or we're talking about homes. So let's limit ourselves to homes, because what you can do in a home, you can also do in a larger building generally. So in a home, you have to use materials that are indigenous, locally available, locally made. Now, unfortunately, today it's become fashionable to use fashionable things that, you're getting imported tiles from Italy, you're getting it from Brazil, marble from here and there, and which is really sad, because if you're looking at the home, these fancy materials don't make the home comfortable. Yes, it's a house that you want to use expensive things to impress somebody else. I don't believe that. I think because it's a home and home for yourself, it has to be comfortable for you, and that becomes very important. I mean, as you see, this is my little home. It's on 400 yards, and I have this is a courtyard that I have inside the house, And this is where we sit, and this is where the whole family is. So this is the whole area where my grandchildren are, and they're running around, and we don't have to worry about a large garden that you maintain and you are throwing drinking water in the garden. We are going to talk about 2 or 3 things. One is how to construct and what to construct with and how long it should last. What we are basically doing today is a client will come to us that they have bought a piece of land and the land already has a house on it. Now, if it already has a house on it, they say, oh, this is not a very nice thing. So let's break this. Okay, somebody's put good money in there while they make a house and it's only 15 years old, 20 years old, and it's not worth living in anymore. And it's not the planning. It is that it's falling apart. Now, if you look at good architecture or good design, you could look at a good hand-knotted carpet. 100 years old, it's not old yet. Or if you look at a very nice old car, which becomes a classic, nothing happens to that. So now these are very temporary type things that I'm talking about. Carpet is fabric that's made to last over 100 years, cars. But then if you look at buildings, so what I'm really saying is that you make something that should last 100 years. So clients will come in and, they bought an old house and they said, this is a classic house that I've got. Classic, the way I see it, comes from the word class. So it had class to it. Now you just go and restore it, or you can go and make it very nice to your convenience. What we did actually, some of you may have seen at the Indus Valley School, that there was an old building that was coming down in Kharadar, and we said, why don't we just take this to Clifton? And we did. Now, that building were go-downs. They were cotton go-downs. So we moved it to Indus Valley School, and they are very nice, beautiful, column-free drawing studios. So all the drawing and design studios are in this old building, which is about 120 years old. Now, that is an adaptive reuse. So almost everything can have an adaptive reuse. An old railway station, an old warehouse, an old something, but you can only use it if it's worth saving. Now, most of our older buildings, they're made out of stone and they're not going anywhere. If you look at the Indus Valley School, it's about 32 years old now. There is a newer building behind this old Nasarwanji building. 32 years and it looks like it was done yesterday. And I feel that it should be able to last 100 years. You have to maintain here and there. A hinge may go bad or a window may break or something like that. So you have to maintain a little. But the main structure, nothing happens to that. So one thing, indigenous, you make it strong. Everything. Now, you look at furniture, you look at your great-grandfather's desk, or you look at their chair, and you say, oh my God, I really want to use this chair. And you use it as a masterpiece in your living room because it was worth keeping there, because it was made with passion. So go to a good architect and your goal should be it should last 100 years. And that's how I think, that's what I call sustainable. Another thing that is going very, very wrong in this country is water. And as we all know, there will be wars about water later on. This is one of the very few countries where we don't recycle water. There are high technologically made machines that can recycle water in every home, because 70, 80, 90% of your water is what you throw away, whether it's in the WC or in the shower or in the garden or whatever. All of that can be used. We call it grey water, but it's clean and it can be reused. So in a house, in apartment buildings, shopping malls, they should all, it should be a law that you have to recycle your water and you have to give it away. Now, we are using drinking water for construction purposes, thousands and thousands of gallons. We are using drinking water for water-cooled air conditioning units, where thousands of gallons are used every day and you throw it in the air. How sad. You could use this recycled water for that. So here I'm saying that these are all these sustainable things that we should be doing for our country. And then the list goes on and on and on. Once we start thinking that what can we reuse and what can make our lives easier and less problematic. So I think I've already said too much. And once again, I apologize for not being there in person. So thank you very much and have a good day.
Indeed, an absolute beautiful video by the architect Shahid Abdullah ASA. Now to proceed further, before that I would like to thank our sponsors, that is FAST, RIZ Electrics and SPCAI. Now to speak over low smoke zero halogen cable qualified for LED certifications for sustainable building, I request Awais Nadeem, Assistant General Manager, FAST Cables, to please shed some light on it. Please welcome Awais Nadeem.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Thank you very much. Assalamu alaikum to all of you. A very cozy response. I can understand that it's a weekend and an early morning. You are there to listen to this convention. But anyhow, I welcome you there and thank you to come there and join us on this session. Today we are talking about sustainable building solutions. I will try to make it an interactive session rather than a boring lecture. So let's see. Today we are talking about sustainable and safe, smart building solutions. So low smoke, zero halogen. Can you? In a building, cable is the core because electricity is the backbone of any building. Conventionally, we are using different materials for insulation and jacketing of cables, in which most commonly used material is PVC. Right now, the things have changed and new materials are coming in the market which are more safe and more sustainable. Low smoke zero halogen is one of that components that makes your building more sustainable. Low smoke zero halogen means that there are no toxic gases in case of fire. And there is no dense smoke because in case of fire, most of the deaths happen due to suffocations. Most of the deaths happens due to dense smoke because due to dense smoke, you remain unable to see exit ways. So if we use low smoke zero halogen material, then in case of fire, there will be no toxic gases. What are the toxic gases? That is fluorine, bromine, chlorine, acetylene, and iodine. So these toxic gases are very harmful and suffocate you whenever you inhale this. What is the difference between low smoke and zero halogen? There are two types. You can use separately. You can use only low smoke cables, and you can use only halogen cables, zero halogen cables. And you can use it combinedly also. That depends on application. You can use, whenever you use low smoke, then the product will have lesser smoke. And whenever you will use a zero halogen cable, then in that case, there will be no toxic gases. Increasing awareness about the impact of smoke and harmful gas emission during fire has led a growing demand for alternatives to traditional plastic halogenated cable construction. PVC has no longer been used as appropriate cable insulation and jacketing material with a high degree of flame retardancy. because previously in PVC cables we use halogenated material just because of flame retardancy, and in low smoke zero halogen cables they are more fire retardant than PVC materials, and also there will be no halogen and no toxic gases. So this is the advanced material. Right now the consultants, architects and builders are realizing that we have to use a material which should support us in case of emergency and in case of fire. Right now in developed countries, this is a crime to use PVC material in public buildings. But unfortunately, we have realized it after so many incidents. Earlier, you have seen an incident in Islamabad, big tower got fire. Luckily, there was no such casualties, but this is a risk, and while manufacturing and building, you have to avoid the risk. Fast Cables has introduced fast green products with the brand of Fast Green. Fast Green cables stand for ultimate quality and reliability with added advantage of being environment friendly, and the key benefits are maximum safety due to absence of toxic gases, absence of dense black smoke, compliance with latest relevant standards, superior flame retardancy, reduce the spread of fire, and improved tensile strength. This is the property of low smoke zero halogen material, that whenever you use it, you avoid the risk, and also the tensile strength is much higher than the conventional materials. Move on, please. एक स्लाइड पीछे बैकवर्ड Thank you. Leadership in energy and environmental design. Today, the speaker earlier was talking about LEED. LEED is a system which makes your buildings green and sustainable. Building consume energy and resources at an alarming rate, and LEED an internationally recognized green building certification system that provides third-party verification of buildings' green sustainable design. LEED provides a framework for healthy, efficient, carbon and cost-saving green buildings. LEED certificate buildings are designed to provide low operating costs, reduced harmful waste sent to landfills, and generally provide a healthier and safe environment for occupants. Due to absence of halogen that results in toxic gases and very little smoke in case of fire, fast green cables qualify for LEED credits for the buildings that comply with the LEED standards. Whenever you use low smoke zero halogen cables, if you are applying for a LEED certificate, then you will get an extra points on using of low smoke zero halogen materials. If you are going for LEED certification, then you have to select the sustainable materials. Whatever you are choosing a cable, you are choosing a panel, you are choosing pipes, you are choosing any electrical or electronics component. Then you have to choose the products which have the sustainability and lesser emissions in case of fire, in case of any incident. All our LSZ cables are fully compliant with the relevant standards of the International IEC Commission, including the following. We measure two things: measurement of smoke density of cable burning under defined condition, and test on gases evolved during combustion of material from cables. In part 1, we measure how acidic gases it contains and determination of degree of acidity of gases. LSZH cables are ideally for use in industrial and commercial installations where both performance and reliability are required. This includes closed environment for highly populated areas such as auditoriums, arenas, hotels, health facilities, airports, and other transportation stations where stringent requirements for smoke emissions are desired. Means we should mandatorily use those smoke zero halogen cables or those smoke zero halogen other products also where we are constructing public buildings. There are few tests which we conduct to measure the acidity level, and conventionally you can see in case of fire that LSZH cable catches less fire in comparison of the other materials. These are the types. Means if you are building your house or any public building, then internally you use general wiring cables. Then you will also have those smoke zero halogen product for your building wiring, and you will also have the cable for your main transmission lines. Then there are different bodies who certified these products that which standards you are following. We have conducted KEMA certification for this product, which certifies that this product is complying with international standards. Some of the projects recently we have done, the public buildings like Imtiaz, National Refinery, Novatex, Shokal Khanam, Oncogen Pharma, Smile Industries. They have used these cables, and also there are other public buildings which are under design, and right now consultants are recommending and using this product. This is but fast, green quality with responsibility, and we have a short video for 30 seconds. I will take 30 seconds more. I will show you how we are manufacturing it.
Fast Cables, the leading manufacturer of electrical cables and conductors in Pakistan, has been lighting up the nation since 1985. From power projects to telecommunication sector, oil and gas to construction and engineering works, food and beverages to textile projects, Fast Cables is leading the way in illuminating new horizons and pathways of progress for more than 3 decades. We are committed to providing the best quality products that meet our customers' exact requirements. Our product range includes bare conductors, low voltage cables up to 3.3 kV, and medium voltage cables up to 36 kV, in addition to customized cables. Manufacturing and quality testing takes place at Fast Lab's state-of-the-art facilities in Lahore, which are equipped with the most advanced machinery and processes. In line with our commitment to offer the best products, we have introduced, for the first time in Pakistan, catenary continuous vulcanization technology for the production of medium voltage cables. Laboratory testing facilities up to 75 kV are available to conduct a wide range of quality checks on various cable components. We have also set up the first aluminium alloy plant in Pakistan to allow complete production of all aluminium alloy conductors, which can be used to strengthen our national power grid due to their lightweight and high current carrying capacity. All our products are subject to stringent monitoring at each stage of production to ensure compliance with national and international standards. We are one of the few companies in Pakistan to possess KEMA Holland certification. The genuineness of our products can be checked through our innovative Fast Tasdeeq electrical cable verification service, the first of its type in Pakistan. Well-established management systems such as ISO 9001, ISO 14001, and OHSAS 18001 reflect our emphasis on product quality, environmental footprint, and workers' health and safety. To serve our local communities beyond our factory premises, we have set up the Al-Falah Medical Center and Navapura Vocational Training Center for Women. In addition, we provide scholarships for secondary and college education, operate water filtration plants, and collaborate with leading charitable institutions in the country. Fast Excellence Awards have also been set up at leading universities such as LUMS, UET, NCA, and NED to promote excellence in the field of engineering in Pakistan. Fast Cables is committed to building a prosperous Pakistan through provision of best quality products and personalized customer service. We invite you to experience Fast Cable service firsthand.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for your patience. Actually, I tried it to play a smaller video, but unfortunately that was not in the system. So you have to watch the complete video. Right now, this is the responsibility each of every one of us to use a product that support the sustainability of a building. Right now, consultants and architects are playing their vital role to convince us that we use such a product which are safer, which are less harmful. That was all my presentation. Thank you very much for listening. So nice.
Thank you, Awais Nadeem, Assistant General Manager, Fast Cable. Indeed, it was an absolute pleasure listening all the insights that were related to low smoke, zero halogen cable qualified for LED certification for sustainable building. We thoroughly enjoyed this session. Sorry for the not warm welcome, but it was indeed a pleasure listening to you. Now, after this, I would like to request Awais Zaidi, CEO, IHP Private Limited, to talk over building of the future sustainable, safe, and smart. Please welcome Awais Zaidi.
Assalamualaikum everyone. So just a little bit about the company I represent and what we've done is that since the theme today is about sustainable, smart, and safe. We took a building a few years back, a grey structure in Islamabad, and we transformed into the first LEED Gold certified commercial building in Islamabad. It's also the first state-of-the-art, completely IoT-enabled building in the country. So it's probably the largest IoT implementation in a commercial venture in Pakistan. Every aspect of the building is completely automated. Thank you. So yeah, I thought I'd just give an introduction while they try to figure it out. So the idea is that when we, it was a gray structure, abandoned, built in 2013 and abandoned since then. And then we looked at the potential of that building, and we felt that by putting in the right technology, the right, technology, the right mindset to it will allow us to create a sustainable building. So whenever they put up the presentation, I'll be able to show it to you. But interestingly, I think Fast Cables was the vendor that provided us most of the electrical components. Uh, uh, we had some amazing support from Sideworks. Akram who was there for the lead certification of the building. We had Schneider as our technology partner. So the building has all aspects completely automated. So in any large building, you will find a building management system, and 90% or more cases, you will see it just as a mechanism to turn on and turn off the air conditioning. But what we did across the building was we were able to cover all aspects from fire, safety, lighting, air conditioning, uh, access control, cameras. Everything was integrated with a central BMS on the Schneider's exostructure framework, and we were able to, you know, so we were able to sort of create a complete 360, and the advantages of that is we have a complete visibility from anywhere where there's IP connectivity available. We are able to see how different aspects of the building are performed, from security to safety to power consumption. And on top of that, the ability to draw on data from different systems allows us to optimize. So we did an exercise with a tenant, and we were able to bring down the power consumption by over 45% over a period of 3 months, just by optimizing how we were turning on, turning off certain subsystems in the building. So if I remember correctly, Imran, I think it was 12 million, and we brought it down to 5 point some million a month in monthly power building. And this is a building of 185,000 square feet. So you can calculate how power efficient the building was. So, yeah. Of course, I think FND, its contribution was great. I think that was one of the foundational partners we had in your in your great office. The building originally, I think, was designed for almost 500-600 tons of air conditioning, and by working with our partners in optimizing the power, the glass, everything, I think we were running the building in peak load at a 180 tons. On a single unit, we were running the entire building. As the first time we were installed the screw-based inverter chillers in Pakistan. I think this is the first building to have that, and with multiple circuits in the same chiller plant. So that allows us a step up, step down technology, and I think that was quite an achievement. I was just reviewing the numbers about 2-3 weeks ago, that how efficiency, even during May June time, I think we didn't require the entire load to go up. So it was a big saving. So yeah, I think it was a great effort in working with all the partners, consultants, technology providers, equipment providers. Everybody contributed in making sure that we were able to work through COVID. I think the most difficult of the times, and we were able to turn around the complete project in a 12-month window. So I think that was quite an achievement. That's the best part. When you know how to talk, you don't really need the presentation. But I would still like to play the video towards the end. Presentation. Well, how are you video? So they're unable to get, but I want to talk about sustainable. So the idea was taking an old structure and transforming into a LEED gold building. I think that required a lot of just 1 second. Let me complete and then you will play. So, so that required a lot of effort on account of all our partners. I think that was, great. I think it's also the first vertical garden you will see in the video. We have, I think, 25,000 live plants. It's 80 feet high, 2 vertical gardens. The first time it's been done at this scale in our country, completely automated, managed by, again, our building management system. And I think, seeing is believing. So why don't you play the video and then I'll say a couple of things after that.
मैं बस आ रहा हूँ मैक्सिमम 5 मिनट में मैं पहुंच रहा हूँ बाकी हवा में
Thank you, Ji. Bit choppy, but funny the presentation is on. So basically, when we started, there was 600,000 gallons of water in the basement that we had to take out. That's where the journey started. And with the support from a team and all the partners, we were able to end with an amazing product. As I said, the first commercial LEED certified gold building in Islamabad, uh, one of the first ones in Pakistan. And you can imagine everything that any modern state of the art building should have has been deployed in this country. In this particular building, from rainwater harvesting to DALI based lighting. So everything we've tried to cover in this and tried to make it a sustainable building. So the entire carbon footprint of the building is supposed to be offset in about 3 years by the 25,000 live plants we put in. So that was the vision, and hopefully we plan to do a few more buildings in the next coming years. If God willing, let's hope that happens. Thanks a lot, everyone. I hope you enjoyed it.
Thank you so much, Mr. Uwais Saidi, CEO, IHV Private Limited, for sharing your insightful views with us. So proceeding further, we would like to thank our amazing sponsors for the tremendous support in making this event happen today. So a special thanks goes to Fast Cables, RIS Electric, and SPCAI, along with all our media and support partners. Thank you. Over to Sidra.
Now to speak over launching of HyperNext, Pakistan's first high-performing computing services, may I please request Numan Wadwa, CEO, PropTech, to please come on stage and shed some light.
Assalamu alaikum. Alhamdulillah bil alameen, wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulil kareem. So basically, I don't know if my slide will be on. So till then, let me introduce. So basically, we have come together with PFIST, one of the leading universities, to bring HPC, high performance computing, as a service first time in Pakistan as a service. So basically, what high performance computing means to a lot of you who may not know, it's a specific type of supercomputer whose job is to calculate at a tremendous speed. So we call it parallel processing. Instead of you putting hundreds of computers waiting for days and months to complete a calculation, and high performance computing can do that job in much faster way. So we have an amazing facility at Park Austria Professional University, and they have interested us to leverage that capacity as a public-private partnership or alliance to take this infrastructure to the market and offer HPC as a service. So we have named this initiative as HyperNext, is the next generation compute services, and we hope that it will go a long way. My slide deck will be there in a minute. Okay, so till then I'll continue. I'll just introduce a bit of who is iVolve Technologies. iVolve is in Pakistan and operating in 4 countries. And we as iVolve Technologies, we are specialized in providing cloud computing infrastructure, and we build infrastructure for telecom and service provider. We have a facility called Qawmi Cloud or Q Cloud in Pakistan in collaboration with Pakistan Telecom, PTCL. And you can go to qcloud.pk and also experience the public cloud services. Besides that, we are offering services to the likes of Saudi Telecom and different telecoms in the region. So moving forward as an HPC, we believe that we can really help the industry in now taking not just getting into the engineering, and you can model your own products and you can do your research. And now we're giving you a facility at a very cost-effective price. And biggest problem in the industry, when you need such a capacity, you need to invest on something which you may not use on the constant time. So in the cloud, you're only going to pay for what you're going to use, and that will bring you a lot of saving. And when you give HPC as a service in the market, we are helping you to basically do your research and offer your products in a much more faster way to the market. I wish I can have. can we move forward? I do have a clicker. Right. So I touched base. We put a lot of focus around security. We understand that every researcher work is very confidential to them. So we make sure that the privacy and compliance to strict security controls are always there. We give everything on demand, so you don't have to wait for the capacity. It's always available at your fingertips. And besides that, you pay for what you use, as I explained. Right, so this is brief of iVogue. I mentioned we put a lot of focus on open source technologies, and we leverage those technologies to provide you leading cutting edge technologies in the cloud. So we have touched base on some of the industries that we think we can make a lot of impact. I don't know if there are industries who are going to do genome sequencing or anything around health and life science, and this compute infrastructure is very much optimized. We have GPUs, one of the leading NVIDIA GPUs, we call it E100, which can also allow you to put AI algorithms using things like TensorFlow and PyTorch. So with that, you can really have advanced AI services running in this cloud. Energy, we have OGDCL and likes of other energy who are exploring and doing different seismic services, and this compute infrastructure can be used by these oil and gas industries. Similarly, now we are seeing like National Aerospace and ASTP. We wish to also offer them these services, who are now building things like UAVs and drones and different technology in Pakistan. So these are some of the other services where we think we can make a lot of impact and we can help giving this infrastructure on demand. So as I mentioned earlier, PFIST runs a tier 3 facility, and this facility is stable, reliable, dependable, and we will make sure together with them that we give highest quality services together in Pakistan. And since this is first of its kind, we really believe that this is going to be a very tip of the iceberg. You will see a lot of innovation coming from this, and we hope that we can make a good impact on the society together. Some of the technology points which may be relevant to some of you. So we are using Intel latest second generation scalable processors, and that allows you to get a lot of threads and cores. Besides that, I mentioned that we have the one of the latest GPU cards from NVIDIA, which is called V100. And besides that, the storage that we're using is IBM Spectrum, to give you some idea of the technology. Other than that, we have InfiniBand connectors inside, so which gives you lowest latency network throughput. So that was brief about the our HyperNext HPC. I hope that you enjoyed. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Numan Wadhwa from PropTech for sharing your valued perspectives with us. Now there will be an exciting panel discussion on smart and safe buildings leading to smart and safe cities. And the esteemed panelists of the session are Dr. Suhail Khan, SPCAI, PAF IST, Engineer Fahim Siddiqui, CEO, FND, Mr. Kamal Amjad Mia, MD Fast Cable, he'll be joining us virtually, and Mr. Uwais Zedi, including architect Akil Kaparia from EA Consultant. So ladies and gentlemen, please give this galaxy of intellectuals a very warm welcome on the stage. Also, this session will be moderated by Mr. Naeem Khanani. So, Mr. Naeem Khanani, you are requested to join us on the stage. Over to you. Mr. Zahir Uddin Aga is requested to join us on the stage for the panel discussion. Thank you. Mr. Zahir Uddin Aga is requested to join us on the stage for the panel discussion.
Hello, Assalamu alaikum. Thank you very much. We are now opening this session. Let me introduce myself. My name is Naeem Khanani. I am Director at Train Nanjing. This is a consulting engineers, CEO of Magna Engineering Private Limited, and Director at Ali Habib Balwindi. So, please. So I would introduce or request my participants, panelists, to introduce themselves and their organization. So today with me are next to me is Engineer Fahim Siddiqui, CEO of Fahim Nanjing Engineering Private Limited. FND is the largest MEP consulting firm in Pakistan. So I will request Fahim Saab to introduce about himself and his organization. Over to Fahim Saab.
कुछ इंट्रोडक्शन तो नहीं ने दे दिए हैं। वैसे मैकेनिकल इंजीनियर हूँ मैं, 74 का ग्रेजुएट हूँ। 87 में FND हमने फॉर्म की, so almost 35 years approaching now. We have a staff strength of about 120 plus, which probably makes us the largest private sector MEP consulting firm. पूरे पाकिस्तान में हमारे प्रोजेक्ट्स हैं अभी।
very for the introduction to our also the presentation today. Well, signing off from the artificial intelligence is here since 2021. As you know, artificial intelligence is also very new technology, and we are trying to get our foothold somewhere in the international landscape. We are contemplating also that we are also users and developers of technology in the field of artificial intelligence. My journey started here in 2020. Before that, I was working with the King's Institute of Technology, the scientists for 13 years. Here, basically, I would also like to mention that from the platform of Science Park also working with the Ministry of Information Technology and Telecommunication, and we just submitted the first draft of the national policy on artificial intelligence. As you know, that policy is a fundamental element in governance and principal streamlines for the investment of government in different sectors, priorities, public projects, and other projects of funding and support. So we are active not only in technology development at Science Center, but we are also assisting by providing consultancy services to government organizations, because we are also a government organization, and we are assisting them in drafting the policies, the formulations, because unless we establish the ecosystem necessary for the artificial intelligence in Pakistan, our applications will be super. So I will not discuss more. Let's discuss it on panel. So thank you very much. So I will request Architect Salim Nirmala Saab to join because one of the architects who is supposed to join is another join. So thank you, Salim Nirmala Saab. Before Salim will introduce, I will request Mr. Kamal Injania Saab, CEO Fast Label, to introduce himself and Fast Label, and especially the lead certified from Kamal Injania Saab. Over to you. Kamal Saab, are you audible? कमाल साहब आप म्यूट तो नहीं हैं? कमाल साहब, we are not hearing you.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah. Welcome to this panel discussion. Kamal Saab, we are requesting you to please introduce yourself and your organization, and especially initiatives taken by Fast Label for taking this on. Over to you.
Sorry, I can't hear you properly.
Am I audible? I'm Naeem Khanani, moderator for this panel. Am I audible now?
Yes, you are now.
So Kamal Saab, please introduce yourself and your organization and your special initiative taken related with sustainable buildings. Over to you, sir.
Yes, Assalamu alaikum everyone. Pleasure to be part of this August panel. I believe the topic of the seminar and this panel is very relevant to the day and time we are living in, especially the city I am connected from. If you have been seeing the numbers lately, we have been having the world's highest air pollution rating as Lahore city. There was a time Lahore city was known for the city of gardens and the libraries, but lately we have been known in the world as the city with the highest pollution, air pollution. So we are using masks most of the time when we go out in the evening, and some people have complained that they are having increased cases of the smoke and the other issues. And this all boils down to what we are doing today and how we are going to make it sustainable for our future. We at Fast Cables, I believe my colleague has already made a presentation regarding our contribution when it comes to the products which are environmentally uh, uh, sustainable, and also uh, as a company we are taking several initiatives to make sure that as a corporate citizen we are achieving the, the international goal when it comes to standards set, the impact of carbon and other usage of materials. One initiative I is worth mentioning is that we have started and with some clients are doing pilot right now using the steel reels for the cables instead of the wooden reels. So our plan is that the remaining half year of this financial year, we will save around 2,000 trees by reducing our use of wood when it comes to the packing material for cables. So that's just one of the several initiatives. Another initiative we did recently with the government of Punjab is to set up a forest to increase the plantation of the trees in the city and the green areas that the government has established. So I believe that it's not one entity like us, it's every one of us. We have to work together. And frankly, in the cable industry, we believe that we have taken this up at the association level. We need to convince all our partners also that how to make sure that whatever impact we have, we reduce it and also make it sustainable. For example, the best part of our business is that copper and aluminum, both major materials, are recyclable. So that's an excellent when it comes to sustainability point of view. Wood is the third one, which I mentioned. We are shift to steel, and that will make it again sustainable and also impact-wise, it will be top neutral going forward when we achieve that goal. So there are some other areas where we would need our partners to work with us. For example, a lot of the cable is packed in the cartons which are made of paper, and that is also something we want to shift it to sustainable materials when it comes to plastics, uh, which are much more not only cost effective but also the impact on the I would say the forest is also less.
Thank you.
So
Thank you
that is
so
yet
much.
another initiative, and I believe in this August panel we have the industry leaders. They have to lead also by setting the what I would say standards and using those in their recommendations and guidelines.
Thank you,
I
Kamal
believe
sir. Sorry for
there is some
interruption.
voice
Yeah, I will
issue.
come. I will come. I will
I
come
don't
again.
know if there is something the host was saying which I didn't hear.
I will come again to Kamal sir. Now I will request architect Salim Rangunwala sir to introduce himself, his organization, and throw some light on role of sustainable building materials leads to mitigating the effects of climate change. So over to Salim Rangunwala sir.
मेरी कैफियत ऐसी है जो वो आखिरी में किसी को फ्लाइट नहीं मिल जाती सीट तो आज मेरा इरादा उस तरफ बैठने का था, लेकिन मेरा मेरे साथ में ऑर्डर दिया है तो मैं यहाँ हाजिर। उन्होंने मेरा तारुफ आर्किटेक्ट से कराया नाम से, मैं बेसिकली सिविल इंजीनियर हूँ, बाई प्रैक्टिस आर्किटेक्ट हूँ। इसको कोई कुछ 40 साल आर्किटेक्चर की प्रैक्टिस कर रहा है। मैं आज कोशिश करूँगा थोड़ा टेक्निकल तो डेफिनेटली ना मेरी तैयारी है, अगर कुछ बचने का होता है तो मैं ज़रूर जवाब कर देता। मुझे लगता ये है कि किसी ने मुझे एक छोटी सी कहानी किसी ने सुनाई थी कि फ्राइंग पैन के अंदर किसी ने एक फ्रॉक छोड़ दिया और नीचे से हल्की आँच उसमें जो है वो जला दी। थोड़ी देर तक तो जो है वो जब वार्म रहा जब तक वो फ्राइंग पैन, तो मेंढक जो है उसे एंजॉय करता रहा, तो सोचता रहा कि ठीक है मुझे तो अच्छा लग रहा है। और धीरे धीरे जो वो आँच जब तेज हुई तो उसकी थोड़ी सी बेचैनी हुई, घबराहट हुई। बिला फिर ये हुआ कि जो उसकी जो एनर्जी थी सारी वो इस काबिल नहीं रहा कि वो उस फ्राइंग पैन से जंप करके बाहर आ सके। तो मुझे उस मुहावरे का मतलब उस दिन पता लगा कि जो हम कहते हैं ना कुएं का मेंढक, तो आई थिंक कि पहले हमें इस चीज़ को जहन से निकालना होगा। और जो मैं सबसे बड़ी चीज़ यहाँ देखता हूँ वो ये देखता हूँ कि हम जितनी भी टेक्नोलॉजीज़ हैं इनका आपस में कोई कोऑर्डिनेशन नहीं। हम सिर्फ कट एंड पेस्ट पे ज़िंदा हैं और शायद एक दूसरे को ब्लेम भी जल्दी कर देते हैं इसलिए कि हम रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी नहीं लेते। तो थोड़ा सा मौका मिलेगा सवाल जवाब में तो इंशाल्लाह मैं कोशिश करूँगा कि एक दो आइडियाज़ जो मेरे जहन में या जो मैंने फील किया है इन पिछले 38-40 सालों में उसके बारे में कुछ कह सकूँ। बहुत शुक्रिया।
Thank you, Salim. बहुत अच्छी मिसाल दी आपने. Now I would request Zahiruddin Agha Saab to introduce himself and his organization.
Thank you very much. Assalamu alaikum to all. This is Muhammad Zahiruddin. I am sales director in New Horizon as a group of companies, and we are having a couple of companies under New Horizon platform. So Sky is one of the automation and BMS kind of innovative vertical we have. And so far, the New Horizon being parent company, we have initiated so many projects that basically transforms the old-fashioned buildings towards the transforming digitalization kind of control factors. And what we have done so far, we have collaborated with the top leading technology partners like Schneider, like Neutron, and Control4. And we have transformed. You have seen an early video of Huawei's building that has been transformed with the help of FND as a build architectures. And the concept and the ideology is to transform that old factor to the new transformation. So that attracts and that basically contains all three factors like the safe, sustain, and smart. So if we count it further, we will discuss it and going forward what would be the factors that we have considered to design it in that shape, and how this building is basically providing more productivity than the early days. Thank you.
Now I'm coming towards Fahim Saab. And Fahim Saab, could you explain the difference between high performance buildings, green buildings, and what is LEED certification? And do you know how many LEED certified buildings are in Pakistan? And are these buildings commercial buildings or industrial buildings or both? High performance buildings and green buildings. इंटरैक्टिव टर्मिनोलॉजी है. हर हाई परफॉर्मेंस बिल्डिंग्स की एक डेफिनेशन है जो बहुत सारे इदारे देते हैं. ग्रीन बिल्डिंग्स जनरली उस बिल्डिंग को कहा जाता है जो सस्टेनेबल डिज़ाइन किया हो, तो वो हाई परफॉर्मेंस बिल्डिंग की सस्टेनेबल डिज़ाइन में हो रही होती है. तो इंटरचेंजेबल वर्ड्स हैं जो डोंट डिफरेंशिएट बिटवीन द टू. जहाँ तक वो सवाल था आपका कि लीड की कितनी बिल्डिंग है, वो सेकंड क्वेश्चन यू आस्क्ड टू मेनी क्वेश्चंस इन वन गो. आई एम नॉट श्योर हाउ मेनी देयर आर इन पाकिस्तान. कराची में हमारी हाईवे एक है, गेट्स फार्मा एक है, ये दो ही सर्टिफाई हुई है. आई एम नॉट मिसिंग आउट एनीथिंग. Internet around 12 to 18 buildings so far. World Bank is also one. World Bank, in fact, that's one of our buildings. World Bank is one of the nationwide. Textiles में LEED certification हुई है. Textile is commercially driven because I think उनके जो principles हैं उनके तरफ से ये चीज़ होती है कि LEED certified हो तो वो काम ज़्यादा मिलता है.
ये एक पुश बहुत दिनों से है टेक्सटाइल इंडस्ट्री में. So the textile industry has modernized itself quite a bit because of the requirement from the principals.
सॉरी तो भाई साहब ये बताएं कि जब आप डिज़ाइन करते हैं सिस्टम ऑफ बिल्डिंग्स तो डिज़ाइन कैलकुलेशन लेके बिल्डिंग्स करते हैं, बट व्हाट अबाउट एग्जिस्टिंग बिल्डिंग रिट्रोफिटिंग टुवर्ड्स सेफ बिल्डिंग्स, स्मार्ट सेफ एंड सस्टेनेबल बिल्डिंग, एग्जिस्टिंग बिल्डिंग की रिट्रोफिटिंग कैसे हो सकती है, या उसके लिए क्या स्कोर, उसकी एलईडी सर्टिफिकेशन का क्या रिक्विजिट है और डूएबल है या नहीं?
ये अच्छा सवाल है आपका, क्योंकि एक तो मेरे ख्याल से अगर हम मार्केट को देखें तो जो पुरानी बिल्डिंग हमारी हैं वो अच्छी खासी हैं और वो सब अब 30, 35, 40 साल की पुरानी होती जा रही हैं. सो दे आर ऑल रेडी फॉर retrofitting. And when you retrofit an old building, obviously you must now bring in all the technologies and make the building more energy efficient. Now again, as I said earlier, the ownership has to take that decision to move forward in that direction. जिसमें हमारा एक बहुत बड़ा रोल होता है कि उनको हम एजुकेट करें, गाइड करें, समझाएं कि क्या फ़ायदे होंगे, क्या क्या चीज़ें उनको करनी चाहिए. लीस्ट कॉस्ट का अनफॉर्चुनेटली एक प्रिंसिपल है पाकिस्तान में, स्टार्टिंग विद द कंसल्टेंट फीस, एंड इट जस्ट सीम्स टू move ahead in that direction, but that's where we come in and try and guide people that building should be LEED certified. So there is every possibility of an old building being retrofitted and going to LEED certification. LEED में अपनी एक there is a grade for retrofitted buildings as well.
Thank you. Next questions to Kamal साहब, Kamal Amjad Mian साहब. कमाल साहब ये बताएं कि फास्ट केबल्स R&D पे कितना काम कर रही है रिलेटेड विद फायर रिटार्डेंट बिल्डिंग मटेरियल्स, केबल्स एंड अदर बिल्डिंग एक्सेसरीज जो फायर रिटार्डेंट हों, और स्पेशली फॉर हाउसिंग. बड़े कमर्शियल प्लाजा या बड़े प्रोजेक्ट्स के लिए तो बहुत सारी चीज़ें होती हैं, लेकिन जनरल वायरिंग के पर्सपेक्टिव से और घरों के लिए फायर रिटार्डेंट केबल्स पे आपका क्या व्यू होगा?
जी थैंक यू वेरी मच. इसमें दो कमेंट हैं जो मैं देना चाहूँगा. एक ये है कि फायर रिटार्डेंट जो जितनी भी केबल्स होती हैं वो पीवीसी जो मटेरियल्स होती हैं वो सारी फायर रिटार्डेंट होती हैं. व्हाट इट मींस इज दैट केबल खुद जो है वो फायर को आगे नहीं बढ़ाती, वो खुद जल जाएगी, लेकिन इट्स नॉट गोइंग टू स्टिमुलेट एंड इंक्रीज द फायर. एक और टाइप की केबल होती है जिसको हम कहते हैं फायर रेजिस्टेंट केबल. अब यहाँ पे पैनल पे जो हमारे एक्सपर्ट बैठे हैं, दे विल बी एबल टू बेटर एजुकेट देन माई सेल्फ दैट द सिस्टम इन ए होम और इन ए कमर्शियल बिल्डिंग एंड इन एनी अदर प्रेमिसेस is built in a way that in case of fire this is switched off. So effectively you disconnect by triggering the control system involved. So for all practical purpose, we don't need fire resistant cable for general wiring at homes. We do need fire resistant cable if for the circuits we want to keep working when even in the case of fire. For example, alarm systems, especially rescue lighting systems, and some other control systems that would be helpful in transferring the information or data in certain scenarios. So to answer your question, we do not need fire resistance cable for general wiring purpose. All the cables which are manufactured as per standard, they use the material which is fire retardant. And as in earlier session has been discussed, there is an improvement in that material in the shape of something we brand as fast green. That is a low smoke zero halogen material for the installation of the wiring and power cables. So there has been some development, and fast cable was the pioneer in establishing the lab and providing those cables with all the tests required to ensure that there is low smoke and also there is zero halogen materials used in manufacturing those cables. Thank you.
Thank you, Kamal sir. Next question to my friend Dr. Sohail Khan. What is the future of AI in commercial industrial buildings and its benefit to improve carbon footprint? Thank you very much. So I think that artificial intelligence actually is the end solution. First, data. So for data, you need to have an IoT sensor network within the building. It could have multiple purposes. It actually can monitor the density of the people in the building, could be used for space allocation, could be used for variety of applications. And regarding energy, it could be used that we can identify which areas of the building are abnormally consuming more energy than we expect them, so we can make special arrangements there. Could be energy insulation and other solutions where other companies can fit in. So I think that the future of artificial intelligence is strongly related to the type of data we are getting and type of application we are talking about. And regarding the solutions that can support energy efficiency, or regarding the solutions that can decrease the energy footprint of the building, I think it could be related to the control of HVAC system, because the HVAC system, if connected to the weather forecasts, can better prepare the building for upcoming heat or cold next hour, next day, or next week. In that sense, you can save the money. And so these are some operational applications of artificial intelligence. And again, I think that it depends all on what type of need is there and what type of sensor network we have. Thank you. Thank you. Next question to Zairuddin Aga Saab or Fahim Siddiqui Saab. Okay, what is the key role of BMS, Building Management System, for analyzing real-time data and energy conservation through BMS? Zai Saab. और I would like you to please share that Huawei building के उसको आप BMS से energy conservation I know तो उस पर काफ़ी अच्छा काम हुआ है, तो energy conservation की थोड़ी highlights दें उस building के बारे में which you are managing through BMS.
Thank you. जैसे कि आपने बताया कि Huawei building was built for the smart provisioning. So what we have considered is that we must have a couple of things that we can present in smart provisions. Like first of all, the water recycling, and then the energy conservation. So what we have done with the integration of the Schneider system with the connectivity of energy, we have utilized dimmable lights, and we have utilized a couple of integrated solutions that basically provides the saving perspective. Like when there is no object with the lighting interactivity, there should not be light in utilization for that area. And to save that part, we have integrated the IoT and OT with that BMS system as well. So we must have the notifications when there is a breach of any sensor. So in that perspective, what we have done so far, basically, to utilize that intelligence of the sensors, smart sensors that we have integrated with the BMS solution, which provides us if there is any object that is basically interacting with the light should come in. Else, there is no light. So on the energy conservation, when there is a couple of plants working on and they need some energy, we have installed a multiple energy portfolios. So that basically works on OT perspective as well. So दोनों के जो energy saving areas हैं, we have connected with the Schneider's BMS integration, and that basically helps us to save more energy than the early days.
Thank you. मेरा सवाल होगा सलीम रंगूनवाला साहब से और फ़हीम साहब से कि सस्टेनेबल बिल्डिंग मटेरियल्स, हमारे जो बिल्डिंग कोड्स हैं सिंध में, क्या वो सस्टेनेबल बिल्डिंग कोड इसमें डिफाइन हुए हैं, उसमें क्या प्रोविज़न है, या अभी बिल्डिंग कोड्स में ये काम होना बाकी है? सलीम, आप अगर सिविल पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से बता दें, और फ़हीम साहब अगर HVAC और इलेक्ट्रिकल MEP के पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से बता दें तो हमें बड़ा सीखने को मिलेगा. codes हैं under the jurisdiction of Pakistan Engineering Council, उससे पहले एक और इदारा बना था, मैं भूल रहा हूँ उसका इनरकॉन। तो बिल्डिंग एनर्जी कोड तो एग्जिस्ट करता है अनफॉर्चुनेटली, और न सिर्फ वो एग्जिस्ट करता है, उसकी दीगर जो शक्लें हैं वो उसमें स्ट्रक्चरल बिल्डिंग कोड है, और अब 2016 से बिल्डिंग फायर कोड भी आ गया है। तो ये कोड्स है अपनी जगह मौजूद, जिससे अच्छी एनर्जी एफिशिएंट बिल्डिंग का बना सकते हैं। इतना कॉम्प्रिहेंसिव नहीं है, बिल्डिंग एनर्जी कोड जो है वो बेसिक चीज़ों की बात करता है, और अगर आप हाई परफॉर्मेंस बिल्डिंग की बात करें तो आपको ऐसे 90.1 या 189.1 मिला करके इस्तेमाल करना होता है कि जब ये हाई परफॉर्मेंस बिल्डिंग। सो द कोड्स आर देयर, द प्रॉब्लम इज इम्प्लीमेंटेशन। कोई अथॉरिटी अंडर जुरिडिक्शन नहीं है कि वो आकर के इसको रिव्यू करे कि एक बिल्डिंग का डिज़ाइन जब कंप्लीट हुआ है तो वो एनर्जी कोड को कंप्लाई कर रहा है या नहीं। तो हमारे ऊपर छोड़ दिया जाता है कि भाई दिस इज द कोड, यू अडॉप्ट इट। तो अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह एफएनडी की जो एक अप्रोच रही है, क्योंकि हम एवीपी कंसल्टेंट हैं मगर हम आर्किटेक्ट के साथ बहुत ही क्लोजली काम करते हैं, और हमारा नस्ब लाइन ये है कि पहले बिल्डिंग को थर्मली एफिशिएंट बनाया जाए। अब उसको इसका मतलब क्या है? मतलब ये है कि अगर दीवारें हैं तो वो इतनी थर्मली एफिशिएंट हो, उन्हें उमूमन अगर आपकी 6 इंच या 8 इंच की ब्लॉक वॉल है कंक्रीट की, तो उसमें द कंडक्टिविटी इज सो हाई दैट हीट विल फ्लो फ्रॉम आउटसाइड टू इनसाइड, और फिर आप एक मैकेनिकल एयर कंडीशनिंग सिस्टम लगा के उसी हीट को बाहर फेंकते हैं, तो आप एनर्जी स्पेंड कर रहे हैं। और अगर एक सिंपल दीवार में इंसुलेशन आ जाए तो वो एनर्जी दीवार की जो है वो तकरीबन यू कैन रिड्यूस डाउन बाय 80-90%, and the cost of insulating a wall would be paid back maybe in a couple of years, so 50% rate of return हो गया उसका। छतों में इंसुलेशन अगर आप ठीक से लगाएं तो उसकी जो हीट ट्रांसफर इतनी ज़्यादा होती है कि एक सीज़न में उसकी रेट ऑफ रिटर्न निकल आती है, रिटर्न ऑन इन्वेस्टमेंट निकल आती है। तो थर्मली एफिशिएंट बनाए। ग्लास आजकल बिल्डिंग अगर आप किसी बिल्डिंग पे नज़र डालें तो ग्लास कंसेप्ट काफ़ी ज़्यादा नज़र आता है। बिल्डिंग कोड ये कहते हैं कि 40% से ज़्यादा ग्लास हो तो वो उसकी स्पेशल ट्रीटमेंट होनी चाहिए, और हर बिल्डिंग अगर आप देखें तो अगर आप गवर्नमेंट टावर्स देखें तो दैट्स ऑलमोस्ट ऑल ग्लास। मोस्टली नाइस बिल्डिंग दैट यू सी हियर यू विल फाइंड virtually all glass facade. So unless those glass facades are extremely thermally efficient, they will draw in a lot of energy, heat energy from outside, which you will then use mechanical energy, the air conditioning system to pump out that heat. So there's a lot of attention to be needed there.
Thank you, Fahim Saab. Salim Saab, we are running short of time, and your last comment.
दरिया को पूजे में समेटना इतना आसान तो नहीं है, बहरहाल मैं कोशिश करता हूँ। देखिए कोड्स ऐसा ही है जैसे सड़क पे सिग्नल मौजूद है और आप सबको पता है कि हम सिग्नल के साथ क्या करते हैं। तो कोड्स लोकल भी हैं, इंटरनेशनल भी हैं। जैसे फहीम साहब ने कहा, मैं थोड़ी सी इसमें ग्लास के बारे में बात कर रही हूँ कि ग्लास को कौन हैंडल करता है हमारे लिए। यानी जो फसाड का ग्लास है उसको कौन समझता है, उसको डिज़ाइन कौन करता है। हमें तो क्लाइंट आके कहता है पूरा ग्लास लगा दो। तो सबसे बड़ा मसला ये है कि हमारे आर्किटेक्ट्स और इंजीनियर्स जो हैं वो सीखना भी नहीं चाहते। आई एम सॉरी टू से कि हम कोई नई चीज़ सीखना नहीं चाहते या किसी चीज़ में हम अपनी स्पेशलिटी भी नहीं बनाना चाहते। तो चूँकि हम तमाम जितने भी सब कंसल्टेंट्स होते हैं उनके साथ हमारे पास वक्त ही किसी के पास नहीं है कि वो ग्लास को सीखे। 2.5 साल पहले बारिश हुई, कराची में तबाही हो गई। हम सस्टेनेबिलिटी की बात करते हैं, हमारी बिल्डिंगें बीमार हैं, जो बिल्डिंगें हमने बनाई हैं वो बीमार हैं, बीमारी का इलाज किया जाता है। या सेहतमंद रहने के लिए डॉक्टर कहता है कि प्रिवेंशन इज़ बेटर देन क्योर। तो आप क्या प्रिवेंशन कर रहे हैं? आपने किसी आर्किटेक्ट ने कोई सिस्टम डिज़ाइन किया कि बिल्डिंग्स में हम फ्रेंच ड्रेन्स क्यों नहीं डालते? ये पढ़ के तो हम आ जाते हैं 40 साल के बाद, और 40 साल के बाद हम सारे सबक भुला देते हैं। तो बेसिक ही हमारा ठीक नहीं है। हमें छत से पानी नीचे गिराना नहीं आता, हम बारिश के पानी से शर्माते हैं कि जी हम तो एलिवेशन में परनाला ले ही नहीं सकते। तो ऐसी चीज़ें हैं कि जिसके लिए आप कोई वक्त रखें तो हम अपने दिल के फफोले फोड़ सकें। कहने को बहुत कुछ है, मेंटेनेंस और जो ये रीयूज़ का जो मिजाज है वो हमारी सोसाइटी का नहीं है। आप ब्रांड न्यू गाड़ी ले लेंगे और मालिक चाहेगा कि मैं उसमें ना तेल डालूं ना पानी डालूं। इसी तरह हमने बिल्डिंग्स का हाल किया हुआ है। हम सस्टेनेबिलिटी की बात ज़रूर करेंगे, लेकिन कब करेंगे? जब हमें सही बिल्डिंग का स्केलेटन बनाने की तमीज़ आ जाएगी। तो पहले हमें बेसिक्स की तरफ जाना होगा। आई थिंक टाइम शॉर्ट है। नहीं मेरा अच्छा नहीं, शुक्रिया।
Thank you very much. Thank you all panelists for your time and expertise. So nice of you. We will request you to come to your place.
It was an interesting panel discussion. I would like to thank the flexi of intellectuals, Dr. Suhail Khan, SP, CAI, PF, IAST, Engineer Fahim Siddiqui, CEO, FND, Kamal Amjad Mia, MD, Fast Cables, Mr. Zahiruddin Agha, New Horizon, Salim Ramundwala. Now to speak over solarization of buildings in Pakistan, a practical approach for sustainable building, may I request Talal Warsi, Firoz Power to come on stage and share some insights. Please welcome Mr. Talal Warsi.
Assalamu alaikum, ladies and gentlemen. My topic is to cover the area of solarization of building in Pakistan. I'm heading marketing and business development in Firoz Power, and Firoz Power is providing customized solar solutions, energy solution in residential, commercial, and industrial sector. It's AEDB C1 certified and C3 certified PEC. Currently, जो इकोनॉमिक कंडीशन है ओवरऑल पाकिस्तान की और जो सिचुएशंस क्रिएट हुई हुई हैं और जिस तरह से हमारी लार्जेस्ट पॉपुलेशन इन द वर्ल्ड है लाइक अप टू लाइक 56th रैंकिंग में हम लोग आते हैं वर्ल्ड वाइड। तो ओवरऑल इसको किस तरह से हम अपनी चीज़ों को बेहतर कर सकते हैं। एनर्जी कंजप्शन हमारी कंटिन्यूसली इंक्रीज हो रही है और इसको फॉसल फ्यूल का जो इस्तेमाल है हमारा यहाँ और हम इंपोर्ट करते हैं एनर्जी को, और हमारी कंजम्पशन में जो डेफिसिट है इस वक्त जो क्रिएट हुआ हुआ है, उसको किस तरह से हमें जो है इकोनॉमिकली बनाना है और अपने यूटिलिटी बिल्स को हमें रिड्यूस करना है। तो उसके हवाले से जो हो सोलर की टेक्नोलॉजी अगर हम अडॉप्ट करते हैं तो ये हमारे लिए बेनिफिशियल होगा इन टर्म्स ऑफ रिड्यूसिंग यूटिलिटी बिल्स एंड एक्सपेंसेस। और पैसिव बिल्डिंग्स डिज़ाइन हमें हेल्प करेंगे रिड्यूस करने के लिए, लाइक हीट एस्पेक्ट से, जो कि हमारे प्रीवियस जो अभी स्पीकर्स थे, डॉक्टर नुमान अहमद साहब एनईडी के फैकल्टी डीन थे, और फ़हीम सिद्दीकी साहब, जो तमाम इन्होंने डिटेल्स शेयर की। फर्दर जो अभी इनोवेटिव आइडियाज़ ओवरऑल वर्ल्ड वाइड जो बात की जा रही है वो स्मार्ट सिटी कॉन्सेप्ट की बात की जा रही है, जिसमें आप बात करेंगे लाइक हाउ टू कंट्रोल द लाइक एयर क्वालिटी, आपकी पावर कंजप्शन किस तरह कंट्रोल की जा सकती है, फिर उसके अलावा इंटीग्रेटेड कम्युनिकेशन आप जो है वो किस तरह से डेवलप कर सकते हैं, ऑटोमेटेड वेस्ट मैनेजमेंट किस तरह से कंट्रोल कर सकते हैं, स्केड्यूल पब्लिक ट्रांसपोर्टेशन किस तरह से मैनेज की जा सकती हैं। साइमल्टेनियसली आप जो है वो हाउसिंग स्कीम्स इस तरह की डिज़ाइन करें कि जिसमें सोलर इक्विप्ड हो वो ऑलरेडी, और लोगों के लिए जो हो एनर्जी वो खुद प्रोड्यूस करें और जो है वो सेल करें अपने नेशनल ग्रिड को। साइमल्टेनियसली अगर आगे हम जाके देखते हैं तो लाइक जो बात हो रही है फ्लोर सोलर फ्लोर टाइल्स की बात होती है, फिर सोलर विंडो ग्लास की बात हो रही है, फ्लोटिंग पीवी पैनल्स की बात होती है, ईवी इलेक्ट्रॉनिक व्हीकल की बात हो रही है। तो इन तमाम टेक्नोलॉजीज़ को हमें अडॉप्ट करना बहुत रैपिडली ज़रूरी है, अदरवाइज जो सिचुएशन इस वक्त क्रिएट हुई भी है उसी तरीके से पाकिस्तान जो है वो ट्रबल पोजीशन में रहेगा। इसके एडवांटेजेस क्या हैं रिन्यूएबल एनर्जी के, अगर हम देखते हैं तो रिन्यूएबल एनर्जी जो आपको बिल में रिड्यूस करने में हेल्पफुल रहेगी। ये आपकी वन टाइम इन्वेस्टमेंट है जो कि 3 to 4 years में मोस्ट प्रोबेबली आपकी जो है वो आपके पास रिटर्न बैक हो जाती है। और आपको जो क्लाइमेट चेंज के हवाले से बात की जा रही है, आपकी फोकस है लाइक यूनाइटेड नेशन का सस्टेनेबल डेवलपमेंट गोल्स 17, आप लोग सब उससे अवेयर होंगे, जिसमें रिन्यूएबल एनर्जी जो है बहुत फोकस किया जा रहा है कि उसको किस तरह से ग्रीन एनर्जी प्रोवाइड की जाए। वर्ल्ड बैंक जो है वो आपको PFN के थ्रू जो है वो डिफरेंट फाइनेंशियल असिस्टेंस भी दे रहा है, तो डिफरेंट प्रोजेक्ट्स आप उसमें कर सकते हैं। इसमें रिन्यूएबल एनर्जी अडॉप्ट करने से आप जो है वो इसमें नो फ्यूल है, लाइक लो मेंटेनेंस है, और आपको लोड शेडिंग एरियाज में आपको जो है वो जब आप हाइब्रिड सॉल्यूशंस प्रोवाइड करते हैं तो वो आपके लिए इलेक्ट्रीफाइड करने के लिए लाइक जो रिमोट एरियाज हैं वहाँ पे भी आपको हेल्पफुल रहेगा। इसकी वारंटीज़ की बात करते हैं तो लाइक पैनल्स की वारंटी जो है वो अबाउट 15 to 30 years होती है, लाइक 12 years की इसकी रिप्लेसमेंट वारंटी होती है, एंड देन लाइक 25 to 30 years जो है उसकी सर्विस वारंटी हो रही थी। ओवरऑल जब हम बात करते हैं कि हमारी कंजम्पशन क्या है, लाइक 2400,000 मेगावाट्स की हमारी रिक्वायरमेंट है, जिसमें हम करंटली लाइक डेफिसिट पे हैं कई मेगावाट्स में। तो ओवरऑल अब तक जो रिन्यूएबल एनर्जी पाकिस्तान में यूटिलाइज की जा रही है वो अप टू 1 to 3% हम तक अब तक यूटिलाइज कर सकें और उसको डिप्लॉय कर सकें, और इसको किस तरह से हम इम्प्रूव करते हैं और किस तरह इसको वर्केबल बनाया जा सकता है, उसमें हमें रिसर्च डेवलपमेंट पे काम करना होगा। लाइक जो हमारी एजुकेशन इंस्टीट्यूशंस हैं और जो इंडस्ट्रीज हैं उनके बीच में जो गैप्स हैं उनको रिड्यूस करना होगा। और साथ साथ हम बात करते हैं लाइक हमें मैन्युफैक्चरिंग प्लांट इसमें PV पैनल्स के हवाले से इंट्रोड्यूस कराने होंगे, जिसमें हमारे पास हम डिफरेंट अपॉर्चुनिटीज़ क्रिएट कर सकते हैं अपने स्टूडेंट्स के लिए, कॉस्ट इफेक्टिव सॉल्यूशंस हम दे सकते हैं। बैंकिंग फाइनेंस ऑन लो मार्कअप रेट्स पे बात की जा सकती है, लाइक जैसे कि पहले स्टेट बैंक की एक पॉलिसी थी जिसमें 6% पे जो है वो रिन्यूएबल एनर्जी पे लोन दे रहे थे, बट ड्यू टू जो इस वक्त सिचुएशन है, जो चैलेंजेस हैं, उसकी वजह से वो भी जो है होल्ड ऑन कर लिया है, लाइक लिमिट्स जो है एग्जॉस्ट हो गई हैं बैंक्स की। जो चैलेंजेस की बात की जाती है सोलर इंडस्ट्री में या ओवरऑल इंडस्ट्रीज जो इस वक्त फेस कर रही हैं, इकोनॉमिक इंस्टेबिलिटी है, सप्लाई डिमांड गैप है इस वक्त, और ओवरऑल जो गवर्नमेंट फैसिलिटेशन नहीं दे पा रही है इस वक्त, और स्टेट बैंक ने होल्ड कर दिया, LCs ओपन नहीं हो पा रही हैं। सिमिलरली इन्वर्टर्स पे टैक्सेस इम्पोज किए हुए हैं, पैनल्स पे नहीं है। और बिल्डिंग्स के हवाले से अगर हम बात करते हैं तो इसमें इसकी इनिशियल कॉस्ट जो है वो हाई है, बट वो फर्दर जो है वो जैसे ही फॉर द टाइम पीरियड आप जो है वो इन्वेस्टमेंट को अपनी जो है वो 3 से 4 साल में रिटर्न बैक कर लेते हैं। ओवरऑल अगर आप बात करते हैं लाइक इसमें जो आपको स्पेस एलोकेशन का इशू आता है और आपको आपकी स्पेस ज़्यादा ऑक्युपाई कर रहा होता है, ये सही है। तो ये तमाम चैलेंजेस हैं इस वक्त जो ओवरऑल फेस किए जा रहे हैं। गवर्नमेंट ने कुछ इनिशिएटिव्स लिए हैं अभी रिसेंटली, पीएम ने अनाउंस किया है कि आप जो है वो तमाम जितनी भी गवर्नमेंट बिल्डिंग्स हैं उनको सोलराइज किया जाए, और साथ साथ जो है वो कुछ 3 प्रोजेक्ट्स का उन्होंने जिक्र किया है, लिया में, मुजफ्फरगढ़ में, क्रीमा में, कि ओवरऑल लाइक 1200 मेगावाट का एक 600 और 600 मेगावाट के 3 डिफरेंट प्रोजेक्ट्स हैं। सिमिलरली जो अदर प्रोजेक्ट्स की बात की जाए वो AEDB जो सोलर की रेगुलेटरी अथॉरिटी है वो 245 मेगावाट्स उनकी पाइपलाइन में है। पंजाब एनर्जी जो डिपार्टमेंट है उनके पास 975 मेगावाट की इस वक्त जो है वो प्रोजेक्ट्स पाइपलाइन में है। सिमिलरली KBK के पास भी 249 मेगावाट के सोलर प्रोजेक्ट्स डिफरेंट के पास पाइपलाइन में है, और सिंध एनर्जी जो सोलर सॉल्यूशंस हैं उनके पास भी 1250 मेगावाट का तकरीबन जो है पाइपलाइन में है। बलूचिस्तान भी 650 मेगावाट के। तो ओवरऑल इनिशिएटिव्स तो लिए जा रहे हैं, बट इट्स नॉट अप टू द मार्क, और वो उस लेवल के इनिशिएटिव्स नहीं है जो इस वक्त रिक्वायरमेंट है। और किस तरह से हम इन इनिशिएटिव्स को लेके या इनको इम्प्लीमेंट करवा कर चीज़ों को प्रैक्टिकली जो है वो उसके बेनिफिट्स ले सकते हैं। कंक्लूजन इसका ओवरऑल हम बात करते हैं तो ओवरऑल जो हमारी हाई टेंशन एंड लो टेंशन लाइंस हैं उनका अगर हम थेफ्ट कंट्रोल करते हैं जो कि लाइक 2.8 बिलियंस में बनता है, और सेफ एंड यूटिलिटी एक्सपेंसेस को जो करते हैं हम, तो ये इन्वेस्टमेंट हमारी अगर रिन्यूएबल एनर्जी में हम करेंगे तो ये हमारे लिए फ्रूटफुल रहेगा फॉर द इकोनॉमिक ग्रोथ एंड पाकिस्तान डेवलपमेंट। मैं रिक्वेस्ट करूंगा कि एक जो वीडियो है इसमें स्मार्ट सिटी के हवाले से प्लीज़ वो भी रन कर दें, ताकि एक स्मार्ट सिटी का कॉन्सेप्ट जो है वो आप लोगों को एक विजुअलाइज भी हो जाए। ओवरऑल इसके अंदर स्मार्ट सेंसर्स डेवलप हैं जो कि आपको रिमोटली कंट्रोल करने में, डिफरेंट सेटिंग्स को, आपकी वेस्ट मैनेजमेंट्स को, लाइट्स कंट्रोल करने में, ये आप डिफरेंट स्मार्ट सिटी कॉन्सेप्ट्स में आप जो है वो इसको प्रैक्टिकली इम्प्लीमेंट कर सकते हैं।
Reduce your city's energy and maintenance costs by up to 80% while reducing your carbon footprint. Insulate street lights can stagger start, reducing stress on the electrical grid. Your intensity increases as it gets darker. The light can be set to predefined reduced levels, but increase when activity is detected in the area. This ensures the right amount of light when and where required. Detailed reports on power consumption, location, fixture status, and air quality. Proactively identify and resolve fixture malfunctions. Advanced intelligence can capture valuable traffic insights, which will help in planning, monitoring, and avoidance. License plate recognition for toll billing, detect distracted drivers, and be on constant watch for suspects and flagged events. With advanced AI, be able to detect when and where a conflict or assault occurs through live video or image capture, and then alert the respective authorities. Intellect can also detect if the suspect is armed, helping prepare police so they can respond with the appropriate actions. Intellect connects, creates, unifies, and extends your 3G, 4G, 5G, and Wi-Fi networks, ensuring there are no dead zones. Intellect enables your IoT and smart devices to be connected. Automate your waste management assets by allowing them to report their status. This allows workers to pick up and replenish bins only when required. Monitor and protect your public transportation vehicles and allow patrons to check schedules in real time. Get up to the second alerts on traffic, congestion, and accidents so you can plan your day more effectively. Also plan your routes more efficiently by getting insight into available parking spots in your desired destination. Intellect, providing lighting, advanced intelligence, and connectivity to future-proof your city for today and tomorrow.
Thank you, everyone. This is from my side. If you have any query, please contact to me. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Talal Warsi from Feroz Power, for sharing your thoughtful and insightful views with us. And now we are truly delighted to offer our most hospitable welcome to Mr. Rizwan Ardia, Chairman, Riz Electric. Ladies and gentlemen, please give him a very warm welcome on the stage, and he'll be talking about smart homes, automation, new lifestyle. Please, sir, join us on the stage.
बिस्मिल्लाहिर्रहमानिर्रहीम, अस्सलाम वालेकुम। एक्चुअली हमारा ताल्लुक तो कंस्ट्रक्शन इंडस्ट्री से है एंड वी बिलोंग फ्रॉम कंट्री बिल्डर्स एंड आपने हमारे प्रोजेक्ट्स देखे होंगे। जो क्लिफ्टन पे कराची में पहला ही एक फसाड लाइटिंग प्रोजेक्ट हमने बनाया है 3 तलवार के पास, कंट्री 8 के नाम से। उस प्रोजेक्ट के अंदर फसाड लाइटिंग भी हमारी है, हमारी कंपनी ने की है रिज इलेक्ट्रिक ने, और उसके अंदर प्रोजेक्ट भी हमने खुद किया है। ये एक्सपीरियंस हमने फर्स्ट टाइम कमर्शियल बिल्डर किसी ने ये काम किया है पाकिस्तान में। तो मोटिव हमारा ये है कि कराची जो रोशनियों का शहर है, इसकी रोशनी बहाल करना हमारा प्लान था, और इंशाल्लाह ताला इसके बाद जब से हमने ये काम एक प्रोजेक्ट पे किया है, वी हैव गॉट नाउ ऑलमोस्ट डूइंग 5 मोर बिल्डिंग्स ऑन हाईवेज, बहरिया टाउन एंड डिफरेंट पार्ट ऑफ कराची। इसके अलावा और भी अब लोग आ चुके हैं फसाड लाइटिंग के अंदर इमीडिएटली, और वो फॉलो अप कर रहे हैं। तो बात यह है कि आई वाज जस्ट सेइंग कि बात यह है कि ये प्रोजेक्ट है कंट्री 8 जिसको हमने किया है। इसके अंदर इस तरीके से कि फसाड लाइटिंग के बेनिफिट्स ये हैं कि जब आप फसाड लाइटिंग करते हैं अपनी बिल्डिंग के ऊपर, तो आपकी बिल्डिंग जो है, एक डल बिल्डिंग जो है बड़ी खूबसूरत बिल्डिंग बन जाती है, बड़ी अट्रैक्टिव बन जाती है। इसके आर्किटेक्चर्स और उसके जो वो चीज़ें जो उसके अंदर आर्किटेक्ट प्ले करता है, आप उसके अंदर उसको आप एलोबरेट कर सकते हैं लाइटिंग के थ्रू। इसके अलावा सिटी की ब्यूटी लेके आता है, एनवायरनमेंट अच्छा करता है, सिटी करती अच्छी बन जाती है। तो फसाड लाइटिंग के साथ साथ जब हमने काम किया तो फसाड लाइटिंग के ऊपर हम इसको प्रमोट कर रहे हैं कराची के अंदर काफ़ी हद तक। दूसरी सबसे बड़ी बात है कि इस कैपेसिटी के अंदर इलेक्ट्रिक कंजम्पशन बहुत कम है। इसके अंदर जो लाइट्स यूज़ हो रही हैं, जो एलईडी यूज़ हो रहा है, उसकी कोई कंजम्पशन हमारी इस पूरी बिल्डिंग की कैपेसिटी को नॉट मोर देन 10 किलो 10 केवीए से ज़्यादा उसका लोड नहीं है, जो कि कुछ भी नहीं है। और इतनी बड़ी बिल्डिंग के अंदर 10 केवीए का एक लोड रखना पीनट्स होता है जब हम इसके ऊपर काम कर रहे होते हैं। दो ये एक रेजिडेंशियल प्रोजेक्ट है, इसके ऊपर ये करना इजी नहीं होता, लेकिन कमर्शियल के ऊपर हम अभी और बहुत सारे प्रोजेक्ट्स हमारे कमर्शियल हैं क्लिफ्टन के ऊपर जिसके ऊपर हम ये काम कर रहे हैं, और बहुत सारे डेवलपर्स भी हमारे साथ इन कॉन्टैक्ट है जिस पे हम काम कर रहे हैं। हम यहाँ पर फसाड लाइटिंग को प्रमोट इसलिए करते हैं कि अगर आप बाहर चलें, कहीं इंटरनेशनल सिटीज़ में हम जाते हैं, दुबई के अंदर बहुत सारे लोग गए, चाइना गए, शेंजन सिटी, चाइना की एक शेंजन सिटी ऐसी है जिसके ऊपर अगर आप वीडियो इरफान प्ले कर देंगे शेंजन वाली, तो आप अगर वो वीडियो देखें तो सिटी जो है वो पूरा ऐसे शाम के बाद जो है वो ऐसे ग्लो करता है जैसे हम कहीं किसी शो में आए डिज्नी वर्ल्ड के। तो हमारी भी यही ख्वाहिश है कि कराची के अंदर बहुत सारी ऐसी बिल्डिंग्स के ऊपर लाइटिंग्स हों और उन लाइटिंग्स की वजह से कराची भी इसी तरीके से ग्लो करे और सिटी एक शाम के बाद एक खूबसूरत लुक दे, क्योंकि कराची वैसे ही रात को देर तक जागता है। तो मेरे ख्याल से वो वीडियो अगर प्ले हो जाए तो आप लोगों को आइडिया हो जाएगा कि व्हाट इज फसाड लाइटिंग एंड व्हाट आर वी टॉकिंग अबाउट। है आपके पास? सॉरी, थोड़ा सा इनके इश्यूज हैं। ये ऑलमोस्ट शेंजन के अंदर हर रोज रात को ये शो चलते हैं एंड दिस इज लाइव वीडियो ऑफ शेंजन सिटी। दिस कैन बी डन इन बहरिया टाउन जो कि एक न्यू डेवलपमेंट है। दिस कैन बी डन ऑन क्लिफ्टन, दिस कैन बी डन इन दिस सो मेनी हाई राइजेस बिल्डिंग जो कॉन्क्रीट का जंगल हम लोग कहते हैं, उसको आप किस तरह से ब्यूटिफाई कर सकते हैं। और ये जो मुख्तलिफ जो शोज चल रहे हैं ये एक दूसरे से इंटरकनेक्टेड हैं। दिस कैन बी कनेक्टेड विद ईच अदर और ये सिटी पूरी चेंज हो रही है। एवरी ईयर ऑलमोस्ट 10 to 11% इंक्रीज आ रहा है फसाड लाइटिंग के अंदर और लोग इसमें इन्वॉल्व हो रहे हैं कि ब्यूटिफिकेशन। हम बुर्ज खलीफा को देखते हैं दुबई के अंदर, वी सी सो मेनी बिल्डिंग्स इन डिफरेंट पार्ट ऑफ द वर्ल्ड। टाइम स्क्वायर अमेरिका पे आप चले जाए, न्यूयॉर्क के अंदर। सो दिस इज ऑल फसाड लाइटिंग जिसकी वजह से रात बहुत ही हसीन हो जाती है शहरों की। थोड़ा सा वॉल्यूम दे नहीं हो। ये हमारा कराची का जो प्रोजेक्ट है कंट्री 8, दिस इज वो, और इससे पहले और बाकी बिल्डिंग्स थी। अच्छा, इसके ऊपर फसाड लाइटिंग के साथ एक और दूसरा बेनिफिट ये है सबसे बड़ा कि इसके ऊपर आप एडवर्टाइजमेंट भी चला सकते हैं। हमने इस बिल्डिंग के ऊपर कंट्री 8 के ऊपर हमने काफ़ी सारे ब्रांड्स चलाएं और ऑलमोस्ट जो हमारी इसकी कॉस्ट थी वो हम रिकवर कर चुके हैं पिछले 1-1.25 साल के अंदर। और हमारी कॉस्ट जो है वो ब्रांडिंग के थ्रू आई है। हमारे पास कोक, फूड पांडा और इस किस्म के कोक स्टूडियो और बड़े बड़े काफ़ी ब्रांड्स ने हमारे पास एडवर्टाइजमेंट की है एंड वी आर चार्जिंग गुड अमाउंट, क्योंकि इतनी बड़ी स्क्रीन कहीं भी नहीं है पूरे पाकिस्तान के अंदर उनको ब्रांडिंग करने के लिए। मेरे ख्याल से अगर कोक की ऐड है इसके अंदर आपके साथ चलाई, अच्छा ठीक। और तो ये एक है। एक हमारा दूसरा हम जिस पे काम करते हैं दैट इज स्मार्ट लिविंग एंड स्मार्ट लिविंग इज होम ऑटोमेशन। काफ़ी हमने काम इसके ऊपर किया है। आजकल एक स्विचेस आ रहे हैं, टच स्क्रीन स्विचेस, बहुत सारे लोग उसको पसंद करते हैं, लेकिन उसके अंदर प्रॉब्लम ये आता है कि जब हम टच स्क्रीन स्विचेस यूज़ करते हैं तो उसकी जो इंस्टॉलेशन है वो बहुत प्रॉपर होनी चाहिए। अगर आपने ज़रा सी भी इंस्टॉलेशन में प्रॉब्लम किया तो टच की कनेक्टिविटी का प्रॉब्लम आता है, जो कि हमारे पास अभी तक लोग इतने एक्सपर्ट है नहीं जो इलेक्ट्रिशियंस हैं हमारे। बहरहाल हमारी एक नई सीरीज़ ये आई हुई है जिसके ऊपर हम काम कर रहे हैं। दिस न्यू सीरीज इज़ वेरी सक्सेसफुल और हमने अब पाकिस्तान के अंदर दिस इज़ फर्स्ट टाइम दिस इज़ हैपनिंग कि हमने इसको अपने प्रोजेक्ट्स के अंदर लॉन्च किया और कमर्शियल बेसिस पे एक डेवलपर्स के साथ हमने जब काम किया और अपने प्रोजेक्ट्स में काम किया, तो अब ये अल्लाह का शुक्र है कि बेंगलोर के बाद बहुत सारे डेवलपर्स और बहुत सारे बिल्डर्स जो हैं अब वो कन्वर्ट कर रहे हैं अपने आप को, क्योंकि फ्यूचर अब यही है। हम इसको हमारा एक यहाँ स्टॉल मौजूद है, आप चाहें तो उसको विजिट करके देख भी सकते हैं। हम उसको वॉइस कमांड गूगल और एलेक्सा के अलावा एक हमने जिम्बो रखा हुआ है जो कि असूस की एक टेक्नोलॉजी है। आप उसके थ्रू उसको मैपिंग करके आप उसको चला सकते हैं, वो पूरे घर में घूम सकता है वो रोबोट, और उसके साथ आप इसको कमांड दे सकते हैं, उसको कंट्रोल कर सकते हैं। ये मुख्तलिफ इसके अंदर वन विंडो सोल्यूशंस हैं कि आपके पास हमारे पास गैस डिटेक्टर्स से लेके स्मोक डिटेक्टर्स और उसके बाद जो है कर्टेंस और जो लाइटिंग सॉल्यूशंस वगैरह, ये सब चीज़ें तो अब तो कॉमन होती जा रही है। ये ZigBee टेक्नोलॉजी पे हम काम कर रहे हैं, विच टू वे कम्युनिकेशन सिस्टम है ये, एंड दे कम्युनिकेट विद ईच अदर। अगर 90 मीटर्स तक अगर आपका दूसरा स्विच लगा हुआ और वाईफाई है तो वो खुद ब खुद अपने अंदर वाईफाई और सिग्नल्स को वो एक दूसरे के साथ कॉरेस्पॉन्डेंस करके और टू वे कम्युनिकेट कर लेते हैं ये। तो ये सक्सेसफुल सिस्टम हमारे पास अभी हम 3 साल से इसको लगा रहे हैं। हमने 2 साल की इसकी वारंटीज दी थी और ये अब 3rd ईयर हो गया इस कंपनी को, अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह बहुत सक्सेसफुली रन हो रहा है। हमारे पास कस्टमर्स की लिस्ट ऐसी है जिसके अंदर अगर आपको मैं बताऊं कि जो बेंगलोर के वाले हैं या जो अपार्टमेंट्स वाले हैं, अब कराची से लेके और इस्लामाबाद तक हमारे पास कुछ 17-18 प्रोजेक्ट्स हमने अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह अभी तक कम्युनिकेशन उसके ऊपर कर दिए होम ऑटोमेशन पे। मेरी ख्वाहिश इस कंपनी से सिर्फ इतनी है कि लोग टेक्नोलॉजी की तरफ जाए, लोग अपने आप को, क्योंकि अब जो अगला दौर है वो आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस से ही सारा रिलेटेड है, और जितने भी लोग अब काम कर रहे हैं और आजकल के जो बच्चे हैं वो सारे बड़े स्मार्ट हैं। हम तो इन चीज़ों को इतना समझते ही नहीं है, हमारी तो टीम काम करती है इसके ऊपर, लेकिन जो आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस है ये फ्यूचर है पाकिस्तान का और ये फ्यूचर है पूरी दुनिया के अंदर। अगर हमने इसके ऊपर काम नहीं किया, और ये सब चीज़ें पूरी दुनिया में बहुत पहले कॉमनली आ चुकी हैं, बहुत सारे प्रोजेक्ट्स दुनिया भर के अंदर हम होटल्स में जाकर ठहरते हैं तो सारे ऑटोमेटेड होते हैं। हम जाके उधर उन चीज़ों को अगर देखते हैं तो इन ऑटोमेशन के बाद अगर हम अपने प्रोजेक्ट्स को भी ऑटोमेट करते हैं तो इसके अंदर हमारे एनर्जी कंट्रोल हो सकता है, हमें सहूलत बहुत ज़्यादा है इसके अंदर, और लाइफ क्वालिटी बहुत इम्प्रूव हो सकती है। तो बहरहाल मैं इसके ऊपर से ज़्यादा बात कर नहीं सकता आप लोग से। मुझसे ज़्यादा बहुत समझदार लोग यहाँ मौजूद हैं जो टेक्नोलॉजी को और इन चीज़ों को समझते हैं। थैंक यू वेरी मच।
Thank you, Rizwana Adia, RC Electrics. Thank you for sponsoring the event as well. It was very enlightful to listen all those information that you have shared with us. Now I would like to invite Nabil Siddiqui, Modulus Tech. He will be talking about net zero affordable housing revolutionary approach. Please welcome Nabil Siddiqui.
Assalamu alaikum everyone. It's a pleasure to be here और बहुत अच्छा लग रहा है कि everyone's talking about smart living and sustainability. लेकिन जहाँ हम ज़्यादातर smart और sustainability और future की बात कर रहे होते हैं उसमें हम ये नहीं सोचते कि ये किस सेक्टर के लिए। तो ज़्यादातर जो लोगों की परसेप्शन है वो ये है कि ये हाई एंड और लग्जरी रियल एस्टेट में होगी, लेकिन मैं इधर इसलिए आया हूँ ताकि मैं दिखा सकूँ कि सस्टेनेबल लिविंग इज़ पॉसिबल फॉर लो इनकम स्ट्रेटास एज वेल। प्रेजेंटेशन अगर Sorry, there are some technical difficulties. But in the meantime, मैं क्यों उसकी बात कर रहा हूँ कि हम लो इनकम स्ट्रेटस पे फोकस करें। उसकी ये वजह है कि अगर हम पाकिस्तान की करंट कंडीशंस देखें तो जो बॉटम 40% है उनके पास रिहाइश नहीं है, और अगर हम पाकिस्तान की हाउसिंग शॉर्टेज देखें तो इसमें करंटली 10 मिलियन से ज़्यादा घर हैं जो हाउसिंग शॉर्टेज की तरफ हैं, और इसमें मेजॉरिटी वो जो है वो है लोअर और मिडिल इनकम की तरफ। तो जब लोअर और मिडिल इनकम की तरफ आपके पास घर नहीं है और आप जब फ्यूचर की बात कर रहे हैं, यूर ओनली टॉकिंग अबाउट हाई एंड रियल एस्टेट, तो हम किस तरह सस्टेनेबिलिटी इनकॉर्पोरेट कर सकते हैं फॉर दीज लो इनकम सेक्टर्स। और दुनिया भर में अगर हम देखें कि हम अगर सस्टेनेबिलिटी की बात करते हैं तो इसमें कॉस्ट ऑफ कंस्ट्रक्शन बढ़ जाती है। सो इफ़ यू लुक एट लीड सर्टिफाइड प्रोजेक्ट्स, इफ़ यू लुक एट एच सर्टिफाइड प्रोजेक्ट्स, जनरली द कॉस्ट ऑफ कंस्ट्रक्शन इज़ हायर देन यू वुड फाइंड देम इन houses that are made using conventional means. तो जिस तरह हमारे कंक्रीट के घर हैं सालों से इस तरह बन रहे हैं, लेकिन they're not any energy efficient. Secondly, इनका जो कार्बन फुटप्रिंट है वो बहुत ज़्यादा है, और अगर हम 10 मिलियन घरों की भी बात करते हैं तो कंक्रीट से बनाना टाइम वाइज बहुत मुश्किल हो जाता है, क्योंकि अभी जो पाकिस्तान की सप्लाई है इट्स अराउंड 150,000 होम्स पर ईयर। हमें जो बनाने की ज़रूरत है एटलीस्ट 5 lakhs in 2-3 years and so on. तो इसके तहत अगर हम ग्लोबली भी देखें कंस्ट्रक्शन सेक्टर में So 40% of all energy related carbon emissions come from the construction sectors. मतलब जिन घरों में मैं और आप रहते हैं, इससे 40% आपके कार्बन emissions हो रहे हैं. तो अगर हम फ्यूचर की बात करें, it becomes even more important and given the current circumstances कि पाकिस्तान इतने ज़्यादा climate change के effects के थ्रू जा रहा है, हम किस तरह अपनी future of construction को sustainable कर सकते हैं. So my team and I, we've been working on this sort of project. This slide? Oh. Right. So ये तो दो बड़े मसले हैं जो कंस्ट्रक्शन और हाउसिंग सेक्टर से रिलेटेड है. और जैसे मैंने आपको बताया, लो इनकम सेक्टर में ज़्यादा बड़ा गैप है हाउसिंग का, जहाँ कि हम हाई इनकम हाउसिंग देखते हैं तो there's a surplus of supply. So our idea was to solve this. ठीक है? So our idea was to solve this challenge through innovation and technology. हम किस तरह बेहतर टेक्नोलॉजी से, without compromising on quality of living, without compromising on standards जिस तरह हम कंस्ट्रक्ट करते हैं, and their structural components as well, हम किस तरह टेक्नोलॉजी के जरिए ये प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व कर सकते हैं. So the solution we developed had to be first of all affordable, because अगर हम लो इनकम हाउसिंग की बात करें तो बहुत ज़रूरी एक चीज़ ये है, लेकिन उसके साथ साथ it needs to be very scalable as well. और उसकी वजह ये है कि अगर हम 10 मिलियन घरों की बात करें, हम किस तरह ऐसे घर बना सकते हैं जो बहुत जल्दी डिलीवर हो सकते हैं, क्योंकि कंक्रीट में हमें वो इंसेंटिव्स उसमें नहीं मिलते. और फिर नेट ज़ीरो कार्बन हो. नेट ज़ीरो का मतलब है कि एनुअल बेसिस पे घर अपनी जो कार्बन एमिशंस हैं या जो एनर्जी रिक्वायरमेंट्स हैं वो नेट ज़ीरो हो रही हो उसकी. So it doesn't have to be on a daily basis, on an annual basis, it's net zero. तो अगर एक साल में घर एनर्जी कंज्यूम कर रहा है या कार्बन इमिट कर रहा है तो वो साल के उससे ज़्यादा वो एनर्जी प्रोड्यूस कर रहा है, तो उसमें आपका जो बैलेंस है वो ज़ीरो या उससे नेगेटिव भी हो सकता है. अच्छा, इसमें एक और बहुत ज़रूरी चीज़ है क्लाइमेट स्मार्ट. एंड गिवन के पाकिस्तान में हीट वेव्स आ रहे हैं, फ्लडिंग हो रही है, तो हमारे घर इस तरह इंटेलिजेंट भी होने चाहिए कि ये इनके लिए रेजिलिएंट हो, क्लाइमेट रेजिलिएंट हो, क्लाइमेट स्मार्ट हो. तो हमने जो टेक्नोलॉजी बनाई, तो हमने कॉस्ट ऑफ कंस्ट्रक्शन तो कर दी कम, अराउंड 30-40%, बट द मोस्ट इम्पॉर्टेंट थिंग इज बिकॉज दीज होम्स आर फैक्ट्री बिल्ट और ये फ्लैट पैक होके साइट पे जाते हैं और उसको आप खुद असेंबल भी कर सकते हैं. इट टेक्स लेस देन अ डे टू बिल्ड अ स्मॉल होम, और इनका लाइफ स्पैन इज सिमिलर टू कॉन्क्रीट स्ट्रक्चर्स. बाकी जो इन घरों के फीचर्स हैं वेरी सिमिलर, एंड आई शो यू सम पिक्चर्स एंड वीडियोस एज वेल. लेकिन इसमें जो ख़ास बात एक ये है कि ये लो कार्बन है, मतलब 90% एम्बॉडीड कार्बन कम है कंपेयर्ड विद कन्वेंशनल हाउसिंग, एंड देयर around 10 times more energy efficient using passive and active strategies. That's not part of the slides. किसी के कोई सवाल हैं अभी तक? You want to discuss something in particular? जो हमारी current cost of construction is around 2,500 rupees per square feet. This includes all finishings, lights, paints, except for furniture. सारी चीज़ें शामिल होती हैं. जी, टिपिकली हम इसमें 100 से 120 घर बना के बेचते हैं, बट वी वर्क इन अदर एरियाज एज वेल. तो हम टूरिज्म में भी काम कर रहे हैं, वी आर डूइंग सम लग्जरी रिजॉर्ट्स, बट एट द सेम टाइम वी वर्क विद कॉर्पोरेट सेक्टर्स जहाँ पे लेबर हाउसिंग है, जहाँ पे स्कूल्स हैं, क्लिनिक्स हैं. स्पेशली जो रिमोट लोकेशन हैं उसमें ये घर बहुत सूटेबल रहते हैं, क्योंकि इसकी कॉस्ट ऑफ कंस्ट्रक्शन बढ़ती नहीं है डिपेंडिंग ऑन ट्रांसपोर्ट. क्योंकि जब हम ये घर फ्लैट पैक करते हैं फैक्ट्री से, इसको पैक करके भेजते हैं, तो एक ट्रक में 11 घर जा सकते हैं. उससे फ़ायदा ये होता है कि कॉस्ट ऑफ ट्रांसपोर्टेशन भी कम होती है और उसमें आपकी इको फ्रेंडली भी हो जाती है थोड़ी.
Are you manufacturing these houses in Pakistan or you're getting
Completely
it
in
imported?
Pakistan.
Okay.
100%. तो
So-
कराची में हमारी फैक्ट्री है.
Totally indigenous. Okay.
Totally indigenous, patented technology. पाकिस्तान में भी patents हैं, US में भी patents हैं. अब जो है हम अफ्रीका और डिफरेंट डेवलपिंग पार्ट्स ऑफ द वर्ल्ड में एक्सपैंड करना चाह रहे हैं इसको. We're using the same material available in the local market, and wherever we construct, we try to use the local materials from there. Pakistan में जो हम कर रहे हैं, the structure is completely steel, mild steel, which is easily available everywhere. The wall panels are fiber cement composite insulated panels, and roof can be PVC or again fiber cement. Because they're lightweight structures, so earthquake performance बहुत बेहतर है. Life safety आप इन सब में इंश्योर कर सकते हैं. You can design for zone 4 very easily. जो कि हुंसा और northern areas of पाकिस्तान में. जी, हीट इंसुलेशन के लिहाज से अगर हम कंक्रीट की एक दीवार से कंपेयर करें तो 12 गुना ज़्यादा इंसुलेशन है. तो उसमें एक बड़ा ख़ास चीज़ आपको फील होगी जब आप घर के अंदर वॉक करते हैं, अंदर जाते हैं, तो आपको 15 से 20 डिग्री टेम्परेचर का फ़र्क महसूस होता है. एंड दैट्स प्योरली बिकॉज ऑफ द इंसुलेशन जिसमें है. और इसके अलावा नेचुरल वेंटिलेशन है. तो एक जो हमने प्रोजेक्ट किया है कराची में, विच इज़ पाकिस्तान फर्स्ट यू कैन से नेट ज़ीरो हाउसिंग प्रोजेक्ट फॉर लो इनकम सेक्टर्स, उसमें जो है विंड कैचेस का हमने इस्तेमाल किया, जो कि एक बहुत कदीम वैसे तरीका है, लेकिन उससे बहुत ज़्यादा अच्छा इम्पैक्ट फील होता है. और क्योंकि ये थोड़े आउटस्कर्ट्स में घर, तो उसमें बड़ा अच्छा एक विंड फ्लो आता है. खैर, हमने ये घर सर्टिफाई भी कराए हैं. वर्ल्ड बैंक ने हमें सर्टिफिकेशन दी है. वी आर द फर्स्ट project in Pakistan to get the EDGE advanced standard. EDGE is a new sort of certification similar to the LEED certification. लेकिन ये वर्ल्ड बैंक की अपनी है, particularly affordable housing projects में ज़्यादा prevalent है. तो ये एक प्रोजेक्ट है. ये कुछ 100 गज के घर हैं, 2 bedrooms, किचन, लाउंज, बाथरूम. इन घरों की जो प्राइस है, ये कराची से बहुत करीब है एक्चुअली, गडाब टाउन में. तो यहाँ से कुछ आधे घंटे के रास्ते पे हैं ये. ये 100 गज के घर जो है, हम टोटल हमने जो इसकी प्राइस रखी है 30 लाख रुपए रखी है, ताकि ये अफोर्डेबल हो. लेकिन 30 लाख रुपए भी आजकल लोगों के लिए मुश्किल हो जाता है, राइट. सो अगर हमें और भी ज़्यादा इसको अफोर्डेबल बनाना है, तो हम जिस तरह Zaid यहाँ पे आए हुए हैं from Trellis, Zaid and Arqam. They're one of our partners and we're working with them to mortgage these properties. तो इससे फ़ायदा ये होता है कि हम ये जो घर है 17,000 रुपये महीने पे दे सकते हैं. 17,000 रुपये महीने पे दे सकते हैं. So it becomes very affordable for people living on daily wages. जो salaried income पे हैं उनके लिए बहुत affordable हो जाता है. Right, so we've created these self-sustaining communities जो कि low cost भी हैं, they're net zero, बहुत low carbon emissions हैं. और इस पे एक बहुत अच्छा एक मुझे ख्याल आता है, वो ये है कि क्यों हम बनाएं net zero homes. क्योंकि काफ़ी लोग ये आर्ग्यू करते हैं कि पाकिस्तान के इतने ज़्यादा कार्बन emissions नहीं हैं, हम इतने ज़्यादा planet को नुकसान इतना हम नहीं करते हैं. लेकिन अगर हम देखें कि पाकिस्तान में बिजली और पानी कितना है और कितना हमें और चाहिए होगा अगर हम 10 मिलियन घरों के लिए बनाएं, तो इससे बहुत एक मेरे ख्याल से तो एक लॉजिकल और एक ये बड़ी अच्छी बिजनेस फीजिबिलिटी बनती है कि हम सारे घर जो हैं, फॉर एग्जांपल अगर हमें 10 मिलियन घर और ऐड करने हैं पाकिस्तान में, इमेजिन द काइंड ऑफ सेविंग्स वी विल हैव इफ देयर नेट ज़ीरो. और अगर हम पानी और बिजली इनमें कितना सेव कर सकेंगे. सो दैट्स माई आर्ग्यूमेंट फॉर नेट ज़ीरो होम्स. और हमने ये भी डेमोन्स्ट्रेट कर दिया है कि ये कॉन्क्रीट और कन्वेंशनल होम से ज़्यादा सस्ते में बन सकते हैं. So there's no losing in that part. And again, there's a huge social impact side to it. Affordable housing, especially green affordable housing, can contribute to over 9 UN SDGs. इसके अलावा, I'd love to show you a video of this project which is under construction. Please feel free to reach out if you have any questions or would you like to collaborate. Thank you very much. Please video play kar dein. Thank you.
Thank you, Nabil Siddiqui, CEO, Modulus Technology. A really a revolutionary approach when it's come to net zero affordable housing. It was pleasure listening you. Now we would like to call Mr. Waqas Mahmood, Marketing Manager Haseen Habib. He will be talking about the fire safety and sustainable building. Please welcome Waqas Mahmood.
Assalamu alaikum and good afternoon, everyone. Today, I want to highlight the fire safety provisions in the Building Code of Pakistan 2017. Now it's a great tragedy कि 2 साल में different platforms में हमने awareness के हवाले से कोई ये 10th presentation दे रहे हैं और हमें आज भी ये highlight करना पड़ता है कि हमारा law fire safety provisions के बारे में क्या कहता है. Because we as a nation are very ignorant about it. हमने बिल्कुल निगलेक्ट किया हुआ है कम्प्लीटली इस एरिया को. आज के दौर में जब डिफरेंट प्लेटफॉर्म्स में दूसरी कंट्रीज़ में टेक्नोलॉजी और इनोवेशन की बात होती है तो आज भी हमारा जो एक रीसेंट सर्वे है उसके मुताबिक मोर देन 80% बिल्डिंग्स इन कराची जो कि एक मेट्रोपॉलिटन सिटी है आर स्टिल नॉट प्रोटेक्टेड फॉर फायर फाइटिंग. वजह उसकी ये है जो हमारा माइंडसेट है. यहाँ पे माइंडसेट क्या है हमारा कि कोई भी हम प्रोजेक्ट बना रहे हैं तो एक बॉल पार्क फिगर आप ले लें तो तकरीबन 5% कॉस्ट बनती है फायर फाइटिंग की किसी भी प्रोजेक्ट की. और हम आज भी सोचते हैं कि हम ये एक्स्ट्रा एक्सपेंडिचर क्यों करें 5% का. बिकॉज वी आर नॉट टेकिंग इट एज एन इन्वेस्टमेंट, वी आर टेकिंग इट एज एन एक्सपेंस. इस माइंडसेट को हमें चेंज करने की ज़रूरत है. अगर हम लास्ट 2 इयर्स में कुछ बड़े फायर इंसिडेंट्स की बात करें तो यहाँ पे जेल चौरंगी के ऊपर चेस का फायर इंसिडेंट, महरान टाउन के ऊपर फैक्ट्री के अंदर फायर इंसिडेंट हुआ. उसके अलावा कोऑपरेटिव मार्केट की फायर मार्केट की मैं बात करूँ तो रिसेंटली सेंटोरस का फायर इंसिडेंट. ये सारे इंसिडेंट ये हाईलाइट करते हैं कि एक के बाद एक हम बार बार वो इंसिडेंट्स फेस कर रहे हैं लेकिन हमने कोई रेक्टिफिकेशन के मेजर्स आज तक नहीं लिए. अगर हम पैरेलल्स ड्रॉ करना चाहें बांग्लादेश के अंदर एक बहुत ट्रेजिक इंसिडेंट हुआ था राना प्लाजा का 2014 जिसमें 1000 से ज़्यादा लाइफ्स का लॉस हुआ था. लेकिन उसके बाद उन्होंने क्या मेजर्स लिए? 2000 से ज़्यादा फैक्ट्रीज के इंस्पेक्शन हुए, फायर हाइड्रेंट सिस्टम्स, फायर अलार्म सिस्टम्स, फायर स्प्रिंकलर सिस्टम्स, आपके जो इलेक्ट्रिकल वर्क्स थे हर चीज़ को अपग्रेड किया गया. क्या हमने किसी भी इंसिडेंट के बाद इस तरह का कोई एक्शन लेने की कोशिश की आज भी? अनफॉर्चुनेटली नॉट. अच्छा, यहाँ पे किसी को अंदाज़ा है कि पाकिस्तान में हर साल फायर से लॉसेस होते हैं उनका फिगर्स कितना है? again, unfortunately, we don't have an institution जो proper statistics इसको रखे. डॉन ने एक रिपोर्ट पब्लिश की थी अपने तौर पे ये फिगर्स जमा करके 2018, और उस रिपोर्ट के मुताबिक 400 अरब रुपए का हर साल नुकसान होता है पाकिस्तान में, अगर आप इन टर्म्स ऑफ मॉनेटरी लॉस की बात करें. और जो थाउजेंड ऑफ लाइफ का एक नुकसान है वो एक बिल्कुल अलग है. तो इट्स नॉट अ स्मॉल इशू. ये डॉन की रिपोर्ट थी. 537 से ज़्यादा इंसिडेंट्स फायर के रिपोर्ट होते हैं हर साल. अच्छा, उस वक्त हमारे पास सिर्फ 22 फायर टेंडर्स थे. अब खैर हमारे पास फायर टेंडर्स और आ गए हैं, लेकिन क्या हमारे पास इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर है उनको ऑपरेट करने का? क्या हमारी रोड्स की ये हालत है कि फायर टेंडर 5 to 8 मिनट्स के अंदर पहुंच सके किसी भी इंसिडेंट की सूरत में? क्या उसको ऑपरेट करने के लिए हमारी फायर ब्रिगेड के पास वो स्टाफ मौजूद है? अनफॉर्चुनेटली नॉट. अच्छा, जो मैंने राना प्लाजा इंसिडेंट की आपको बात की थी, तो ये न्यूयॉर्क टाइम्स से उसके फिगर्स लिए गए. 2500 फैक्ट्रीज का वहां पे इंस्पेक्शन हुआ. 300 यूनिट्स को कंप्लीटली ब्लैकलिस्ट कर दिया गया अनफॉर्चुनेटली, जो कि फायर सेफ्टी प्रोविजंस को पूरा नहीं कर रहे थे. हमें भी इन्हीं ड्रास्टिक मेजर्स की ज़रूरत है. अच्छा, बिल्डिंग कोड के हवाले से मैं बात करूं तो जो बेसिक रिक्वायरमेंट है आपके इक्विपमेंट के हवाले से, वो सबसे 4 उन्होंने क्वालिफाई किया है आपके इक्विपमेंट की सूरत में. नंबर 1, फायर एक्सटिंग्विशर्स, जो बिल्कुल आपकी बेसिक रिक्वायरमेंट है. वाई फायर एक्सटिंग्विशर्स ये ज़रूरी हैं कोई भी आग की सूरत में उसको बढ़ने से पहले उसको किल करने के लिए. नंबर 2, फायर हाइड्रेंट सिस्टम, प्रेशराइज्ड फायर हाइड्रेंट सिस्टम, जो कि आपके प्रॉपर फायर पंप से कनेक्ट होना चाहिए. ये किस सूरत में ज़रूरत आपको पड़ती है कि एक दफ़ा अगर फायर बढ़ गई और आपके पास बिल्डिंग के अंदर इन हाउस सिस्टम नहीं हुआ, तो आपके पास एक बहुत शॉर्ट विंडो होती है जिसके अंदर आप फायर को किल कर सकते हैं. हमने जितने भी बड़े फायर इंसिडेंट्स का पीछे जिक्र किया, वहां पे क्या हुआ, जब तक फायर ब्रिगेड पहुंची, फायर इतनी ज़्यादा स्प्रेड हो चुकी होती है कि उसको बुझाना एक तरह से नामुमकिन हो जाता है. फिर वो जल जल के ही आग बुझ रही होती है, अपना पूरा फ्यूल बर्न करके, आप उसको नहीं बुझा रहे होते, और जो लॉस होना होता है वो हो चुका होता है तब तक. नंबर 3, फायर अलार्म सिस्टम. फायर अलार्म सिस्टम्स की आपको क्यों रिक्वायरमेंट है? फायर की सूरत में पहले धुआं पैदा होता है और उसके बाद उसका शोला बनता है. तो बिगिनिंग में ही फायर को डिटेक्ट करके कम से कम लोगों को रेस्क्यू किया जा सके, क्योंकि सबसे ज्यादा इंपॉर्टेंट लोगों की लाइफ्स हैं, उससे बढ़ के कुछ नहीं है. फायर डोर्स, आप लोगों को सुन के शायद हैरत हो कि जो हमारे पास फायर की वजह से लाइफ का लॉस होता है वो फायर से ज़्यादा उसके धुएं को इनहेल करने की वजह से होता है. तो फायर डोर्स का बेसिक मकसद यही होता है, फायर को एक जगह कंटेन करना, धुएं को स्प्रेड नहीं होने देना दूसरी जगह. अच्छा, ये जो मैंने आपको बताई 4 बेसिक रिक्वायरमेंट्स हैं इक्विपमेंट की, जो हर बिल्डिंग में होनी चाहिए, चाहे वो कोई घर हो, कोई रेजिडेंशियल बिल्डिंग हो, कोई कमर्शियल बिल्डिंग हो, कोई आपकी फैक्ट्री हो. ये हमारे लॉ के अंदर मेंशन है, अनफॉर्चुनेटली जो फॉलो नहीं होता. एक 5वीं चीज है स्प्रिंकलर सिस्टम की, जो मैं आगे आपको बताता हूं, लेकिन अभी मैं आपसे वो रिक्वायरमेंट शेयर कर रहा हूं जो हर जगह होना जरूरी है. जी, प्लीज गिव हिम द माइक दे रहे हैं.
हेलो जी, अस्सलाम वालेकुम। मेरा क्वेश्चन ये है कि ठीक है, हम सिस्टम्स की बात कर रहे हैं, जितने भी रेजिडेंट्स हैं, जो एम्प्लॉयज़ हैं, जो काम करते हैं, उनको भी बेसिक फायर ट्रेनिंग देना बहुत ज़रूरी है, जो कि कंपनीज में आई हैव नॉट सीन के दी जा रही हो। तो इस पे भी थोड़ी थोड़ी आप बात करें कि सिस्टम्स तो बाद में आते हैं, पहले तो ह्यूमन इटसेल्फ ह्यूमंस हैं जो उसी टाइम एक्शंस ले सकते हैं, क्योंकि हमारे यहाँ बिजली भी नहीं होती ना बहुत टाइम्स के, बेशक सिस्टम का बैकअप भी हो, तो वी कैन नॉट रिलाई ऑन द बैकअप एज वेल।
अच्छा, मैं इसकी बात करता हूँ। जो मैं आपको बिल्डिंग कोड की रिक्वायरमेंट्स बता रहा था, मैं जल्दी से इसको फिनिश करता हूँ। 8 रिक्वायरमेंट्स हैं, जिसमें से 4 रिक्वायरमेंट्स जो हैं वो आपकी इक्विपमेंट के बारे में जो मैंने बताई। बाकी 4 रिक्वायरमेंट्स क्या हैं, उसके अंदर आपने जो बात की वो पूरी होती है। बाकी 4 रिक्वायरमेंट्स ये हैं कि आपके पास सेफ्टी साइंस होने चाहिए, ताकि इमरजेंसी की सूरत में हर किसी को पता हो कहाँ से एग्जिट करना है। नंबर 2, आपके पास इवैक्यूएशन प्लान होना चाहिए हर फ्लोर पे। नंबर 3, आपके पास इमरजेंसी एग्जिट का जो है वो कोई ऑप्शन होना चाहिए। अब डीएचए के अंदर बहुत सी बिल्डिंग्स ऐसी हैं जहां पे आप फायर एग्जिट बाहर की तरफ नहीं बना सकते। डीएचए की रेगुलेशंस कुछ ऐसी हैं, वहां हमने ये स्केप शूट लगाया है। तो आपने कोई भी मैकेनिज्म डेवलप करना है, लेकिन ऑल्टरनेट रूट होना जरूरी है, वरना जो मेहरान टाउन में ट्रेजेडी हुई फिर इसी तरह से ट्रेजेडीज होती हैं। उसके अलावा ट्रेनिंग्स जो आप बात कर रहे थे, तो वहां पे हमारी ट्रेनिंग्स की, जो आपने बिल्डिंग के अंदर से ही फायर वार्डन्स लेने हैं, अपने स्टाफ को ट्रेनिंग देनी है कि जो इक्विपमेंट लगा हुआ है उसको किस तरह से यूज करना है और लोगों को किस तरीके से स्केप कराना है। तो यहां पे आपकी ट्रेनिंग की रिक्वायरमेंट पूरी हो जाती है। फायर स्प्रिंकलर्स, अच्छा, ये 8 रिक्वायरमेंट जो मैंने अभी तक शेयर की, ये हर किसी ने फॉलो करनी है। फायर स्प्रिंकलर्स की रिक्वायरमेंट आपकी कहां आती है, जहां आपकी बिल्डिंग 4 फ्लोर या उससे ज्यादा हो, या उसका कवर्ड एरिया 12,000 स्क्वायर फीट से ज्यादा हो। ये आपका लॉ कहता है। ये आपकी 5वीं इक्विपमेंट की रिक्वायरमेंट आ जाती है। तो ये आपने हर सूरत में फॉलो करना है बिल्डिंग कोड ऑफ पाकिस्तान। अच्छा, इसमें अब लास्ट पॉइंट ये है कि ये जो बिल्डिंग कोड के 8 मेन रिक्वायरमेंट्स हैं, फुलफिल किसने करनी है। अब यहाँ पे बहुत सारे इदारे हैं जिनका यहाँ पे रोल आ जाता है। फायर ब्रिगेड, सिविल डिफेंस, डीएचए, कंटोनमेंट्स की जो अथॉरिटीज हैं, उसके अलावा सिंध कंट्रोल बिल्डिंग अथॉरिटी, और तमाम इदारों को आप छोड़ दें तो सबसे पहले हमारा अपना रोल आ जाता है। अगर आप किसी इदारे के सरबराह हैं तो अपने वर्कर्स की सेफ्टी आपकी जिम्मेदारी है। अगर आप एक बिल्डर हैं तो जो रेजिडेंट्स वहां पे रहने वाले हैं, तो उस बिल्डिंग का स्ट्रक्चर उस हिसाब से बनाना आपकी जिम्मेदारी है। तो हम सबको ये रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी लेनी पड़ेगी, और मैं उम्मीद करता हूं कि नेक्स्ट टाइम जब हम कोई प्रेजेंटेशन दे रहे होंगे तो हम बेसिक रेगुलेशन से आगे बढ़ चुके होंगे और फ्यूचर और टेक्नोलॉजीज की बात कर रहे होंगे। थैंक यू।
Thank you so much, Waqas Mahmood, Manager Marketing, Haseen Habib. Now I would like to request Architect Purina from Architect and Mirza Abbas from Concrete Technology INC. They will be talking about sustainable material leads to mitigating the effects of climate change and urban heat. Please welcome Architect Purina and Mirza Abbas.
Assalamu alaikum. Firstly, my name is Parnia. There was like a mispronunciation by the panel leader. It's okay. Um, I'm a I'm an architect. My training is from I have my BArch from California Polytech, and I'm registered with PCATP, and I'm kind of practicing for 2 years or so now in Karachi. And I have a few running projects in Dubai, and my practice is mostly based in retail spaces and commercial spaces. So I was invited by Atif today, who's the panel organizer, to speak on how young architects can choose building materials that allow for like a very conscious and like a responsible choice of building materials in your projects, and how I connected with my practice and my education. So my thesis in school was about urban heat island effect. What is urban heat island effect is essentially, it's the idea where you can just move forward. Oh. Oh. Yeah, sorry, this remote's just. Urban heat island effect is basically when जो हमारे city centers होते हैं, especially now in Karachi, it's an ever growing city. हमारे commercial areas are expanding at a very high rate. तो जब हम लोग architecture practice में we're selecting the correct materials, how we can mitigate the urban heat island effect. Urban heat island effect is essentially when cities, instead of expanding horizontally, are expanding vertically and at a very high rate. तो होता क्या है कि because of the day-to-day activities, the human activities, the vehicles that are crossing by in that areas, and especially the lack of vegetation, it allows for a very high waste heat to accumulate in the building materials, whatever we select. So if you even look at the graph at the bottom, it shows that जब हम commercial areas की तरफ आते हैं तो urban heat island profile is exponentially higher in those areas. Oh, okay. I think I got it, yeah. So today with this panel, I would like to kind of address a more like a centralized mitigation proposal strategy, and how we can, learn from each other to make civic and conscious and thoughtful selections in the building materials, and how these in turn will mitigate the effect that I'm speaking of. Okay. Urban heat island effect can actually worsen air and water quality in all the surrounding urban and rural areas, and all of these negative impacts are सारे connected होते हैं, and everything has a conscious effect on the vegetation, species, human life, etc. As you see, Karachi के map के मुताबिक, it's actually, sorry, I think I have to point it towards the screen. It's growing very, very fast. और हम लोग को क्यों, why architecture? Why is architecture practice, and how does it connect to the correct building material selection? Because architecture is kind of like, it's a series of activist choices that, it's a social responsibility that we have to make at a very independent level and at a corporate level also. Abhi humne itni sari, we've seen such a lot of nice, firms presenting what they're doing at such a high level, but also at an independent level, we can make these choices, and we can actually mitigate these large scale problems at a very, personal level too, through our independent practices. So I believe this is our, it's a social responsibility of all architects, and this is something that was, coded to us in the PCATP regulatory, examination that we have to give also. Now, how is concrete actually a really good industrial solution for the urban heat island mitigation strategy? Is because actually concrete, जब लोग दिमाग में सोचते हैं, they think it's very like cold, it's a clinical, it's very boring material, but actually it's one of the most zero carbon footprint material that does exist. It's actually green. It's an LEED, it's a LEED certified material, and concrete flooring, especially in commercial and industrial areas, what it does is concrete is basically a thermal substance. What it does is that it kind of holds the heat of the day-to-day activities and it releases it slowly over the day and over the night ताकि across the board हमारा temperature regulated रहता है. I'll let Mirza Abbas, who's actually my partner in this panel, to speak more on that. But these are some of my completed projects in Karachi. So if you see, like, I'm specifically focusing on poured concretes in flooring. So it can actually look good too, like, and how we can, make it look good. There's a lot of solutions, there's a lot of patterns, there's a lot of epoxy coatings that are available that allow for this kind of imagery to come through. And actually, when आप US, Europe or UK की old buildings देखें, like उसमें जो even in the commercial areas there's a lot of like usage of concrete, and they have a really good variety of epoxy finishes that last 300, 400 years. And हमारे for some reason हम tiling लगा रहे होते हैं, carpeting लगा रहे होते हैं, it's increasing insulation, it's not sustainable. So it's just a choice of sustainable material that we can do. And I will like to invite Mirza Abbas to speak on his practice and how we collaborated and connected.
Thank you, Purnia, for handing that over. Hope everyone's doing well. Going to try and keep this as brief as possible. As we're all well aware, concrete and the cement industry is the second largest emitter of emissions globally. So those of us that work in the industry, it's incumbent upon us to find ways that we can reduce our carbon footprint and also lead to and also engineer this material that is a considerable pollutant to be able to be used sustainably and with less of an impact. So the things that my company does are waterproofing, industrial flooring, decorative concrete, and epoxy systems. Now I'm just going to briefly go over some of those divisions and how we are working with architects and designers and contractors to make concrete a more sustainable building material. So in the structural component of things, when we're looking at waterproofing buildings, new ones, existing ones, traditional methodologies all rely on hydrocarbon-based solutions. So those are bitumen, membranes, things of that nature. What we have done is worked with some global leaders, a company called Penetron in the US, and we import crystalline-based solutions where rather than relying on a barrier treatment like bitumen or something of that sort, we can actually engineer the concrete itself to be the waterproof barrier. When you reduce processes and you reduce materials, you are reducing your emission impact as well as making the structure sustainable. Similar applications can be worked on in aesthetic or architectural applications. So as Purnia alluded to, we do a lot of concrete flooring where the final floor of concrete itself is what is used by residents of homes, commercial spaces, factories, etc. Another thing that you might see a lot in the Scandinavian or European or Japanese markets, more of the developed markets, is actually use of concrete as a final finish in terms of fair-faced concrete or integrity colored concrete, wherein you don't rely on paint and things of that nature. Epoxies are another smart way of rehabilitating existing floors rather than dismantling and repouring surfaces. You can always rehabilitate them using epoxy systems. And then finally, the most important one, because industrial and commercial spaces have the largest foot coverage, parking spaces, things of that nature. So rather than going for things like tiles and marble and other finishes that sit atop the concrete, we recommend and engineer solutions wherein the concrete itself can be used as a final flooring solution. So I encourage all of you to explore concrete as a medium that can be engineered to be a sustainable solution and improve our global carbon footprint. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much for your time and for the wonderful presentation. There are some very interactive stalls and interesting stalls that are being exhibited on the right and left hand side of the hall. So you guys are expected to visit all those stalls once you're done with your lunch, please. We once again thank you all for your kind participation in this momentous event. I would request you all to please sit for a while so that we can distribute the shields amongst our distinguished speakers and the panelists. So we are just doing the necessary arrangements. After that, all the speakers are requested to move towards the right hand side of the conference hall in the speaker lounge for their lunch, and the audience is requested to visit the first floor, level 1 of the conference room, so that they can have their lunch over there. You are requested to stay here for a while, please. If Mr. Naeem Khanani can hear me, can you please join us for the shield distribution ceremony? Mr. Naeem Khanani? Thank you. Okay. I would request Engineer Fahim Siddiqui, CEO F&D Consulting Engineers, to please join us on the stage, and Mr. Naeem Khanani along with the team for the shield distribution ceremony. Mr. Liaka Javed is also requested to join the ceremony. Atif Arifin, you may also join the ceremony, please. This is his shield. Dr. Suhail Khan, HOD SPCAI PF, is requested to come on the stage and receive his shield, please. Dr. Suhail Khan, if you're here, you're please requested to come on the stage. Mr. Awais Nadeem from Fast Cable is requested to join us at the stage for the shield receiving ceremony. It's okay, we'll get it done. It's okay, it's okay. Mr. Noman Wadva from iWolfTech is requested to join us on the stage and receive the shield. Okay. Mr. Rizwan Adia, Chairman, Risk Electric, is requested to come on the stage and receive his shield. Mr. Kamal Amjad Mia is requested to come on the stage and receive his shield. Mr. Awais Nadeem will receive his shield on behalf of Mr. Kamal Amjad. Mr. Nabil Siddiqui, Modulus Tech, is requested to join on the stage and receive his shield. Mr. Talal Warsi from Feroz Power is requested to join us on the stage and receive his shield. Mr. Waqas Mahmood from Haseen Habib is requested to come on the stage and receive his shield. Name, sir? Mr. Rizwan Adia is requested to join us on the stage and please receive his shield. Mr. Rizwan Adia, Chairman, Risk Electric. Architect Pernia at Iterate and Mirza Abbas from Concrete Technologies Incorporation are requested to join us on the stage and receive their souvenirs, please. Mr. Waqas Mahmood from Haseen Habib is requested to receive his shield. Thank you. Mr. Mr. Waqas Mahmood from Haseen Habib is requested to receive his shield. Thank you so much for your kind participation in this momentous event. Dr. Suhail Khan, HOD SPCI, is requested to come on the stage and receive his shield, please. I think Mr. Mirza Abbas was not here when his shield was announced. If he's here, please come on the stage and receive the shield, or else I would request Ms. Pernia to receive the shield on his behalf. इनको वो नहीं है मिर्जा पास Mr. Zahiruddin Agha, Director Sales, New Horizon, is requested to join us on the stage and receive his shield, please. So, my dear audience, this wonderful convention has come to its end now. I hope you all have gained a lot of information that can be utilized in the best of your interest in future. So, you all may proceed towards the lunch area, and speakers are requested to proceed towards the right-hand side, that is the speakers' lounge. Thank you so much. Thanks once again. Thanks to all the sponsors for making this event happen today. Fast Cables, RIS Electric, and SPCI. Thanks to your support and for making it happen. Thanks a lot. Allah Hafiz.